And welcome to We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. I am your host, Tony Lindsay. Ha! All right. Yep. So you see, this is not an official episode today. I'm just here chilling. I'm playing with the tech here, doing my own little um I'm producing this myself. I'm just messing with these new little gadgets and gauges, trying to figure out how to run this podcast by myself right here from my desk. But I think I got everything together now. How's everybody doing today? I'll give you guys a second to come in here. Hey, hey, Doug Funny. Hey, everybody. What's up? So I'm streaming here on Rumble, streaming on YouTube at We Need to Talk with Tony Lindsay. You guys can find me on X at Tony L Talks. You can find me on There's No Echo. Ah, good, perfect. I was thinking that there was going to be an echo, but I'm glad there's no echo. So yeah, you can also find me on X, like I said, Tony L Talks. You can find me on TikTok at Tony_Talks. You see my name right there, Tony L Talks. That's where you find me on X. Where else? You can also find me on Facebook at Tony Lindsay and Instagram. You can find me at Tony Lindsay _ director. That's Tony Lindsay _ director. So yeah, 9 stars, guys, not 50. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, you guys see what's going on today with the United States agency. What is it for international development? You guys see that? The USAID, all of the hoopla, all of the drama that's going on. Oh yeah, I know Mexico caved. Yeah, they sure did. Oh, should I start with Mexico? Yeah, well, no, we'll go to Mexico next. But yeah, the USAID, like you got all these Democrats going crazy, and this is the thing. Why don't I don't see any Republicans going crazy right now? That's odd, right? Because honestly, I'm more of the mind that when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, there is, a uniparty, an establishment, a political establishment that preserves the interests of itself. But I do know when it comes to a lot of the wasteful spending that we've seen on certain policies, um, like DEI policies, like LGBTQ issues, what you'll see is that conservatives, Republicans, they really don't like to fall in line with that. And especially, I would say, over the past 4 years, you've seen so much of a push for censoring conservative voices or any voices that push back against the Democrat or the liberal establishment narrative, that I just think they're done with it. I think the American people are done with it. And Donald Trump kind of represents that, because you see, Democrats stand against Donald Trump, uh, rhinos stand against Donald Trump. And for those of you who don't know what a rhino is, that's a Republican in name only. So those are those establishment Republicans who work side by side, symbiotically, hand in hand with the establishment Democrats. They are the uniparty. They comprise the uniparty. A lot of us think that we're relegated to this position where we have to choose teams. We got to be Democrat or Republican when we should actually be team American people. Okay? So, yeah. And I think that's what MAGA represents. And the thing that's so weird about it is that most people don't even bother to dig in to find out or even talk to MAGA or see what it is they truly represent. Because I'm telling you, you would be surprised when you actually go into these settings and you engage with MAGA. They're not at all what the media has presented them to be. I haven't checked the market. Has it crashed? Did it crash like the fear mongering were saying? No, the market didn't crash. I mean, if you're a person who invests, you put money in the stock market, you trade crypto and all of that kind of stuff, be careful, because you're going to see a lot of volatility, right? Especially over the next couple of weeks. And it's not even so much based upon the things that Donald Trump is doing, but it's more so based upon the reactions to what Donald Trump is doing. I would argue that a lot of this has to do with the media narratives that are immediately following any and everything that Donald Trump does. And this is the triggering, this is the propaganda, it's the rage baiting, it's all of the things that they do to trigger an emotional response from people, from you, investor, and that leads to investors, either loading up the market with a lot of money or pulling a whole lot of it out, because right now we're in a market that's driven purely by emotion. So just be careful if you're putting your money in the market. The moment they announced, Donald was like, Donald Trump, yeah, he's hitting Canada and Mexico with the tariffs. Everyone just started catastrophizing, fire and brimstone, the world is over, even though I think Canada only represents like 1.3% of our GDP, but it was the end of the world based on what the news was telling you and Democrats were telling you. And, Canada's going to retaliate, even though we know that I think like 76% or at least 70% of Canada's exports come right here to the United States. Who's really going to win a trade war? Come on, bro. Cut it out. I think that we become so pussified as a country that we don't even want to exude strength. We don't want to exert strength. I mean, that's one thing I agree with when it comes to Donald Trump: peace through strength. We have stood as the welfare check of the globe for a very long time. Every country in the world knows that they need some money. Just go to the United States government welfare office, where all of these corrupt politicians, you just grease their palms a little bit, let them launder what they got to launder, and just give us our cut. That's basically all it is. The United States government right now is full of so much corruption. It's nothing more than a giant pay-for-play scheme. That's all it is. I mean, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you should be against that shit. And that is what leads to the USAID. Now, for many years, you have had administrations that have had major problems. You have had congresspersons who have always been calling for the abolition of the USAID. It's just nothing more than this. It's a glorified money laundering scheme that is under the guise of foreign aid, right? But we know that they also involve themselves in other areas, and we know it's backed by the CIA too. I mean, we just found out. Well, I don't want to say we just found out, because we always knew. But the USAID was behind a lot of the propaganda that we were subjected to. All of this, anti-Russia propaganda bullshit that we were going through the COVID stuff. The whole disinformation thing. I talked to you guys about this a while ago about how we had government. Remember how I was telling you guys that the government was basically funding. They were paying journalists. They were paying all of the propagandists to not even just silence you, but twist all of the information that was being presented to you. I did a couple of lives where I spoke to everyone. I said that the United States has been funding censorship to different countries across the globe through NGOs. And now we actually have confirmation on which agency of many has been guilty of doing it, and that's the USAID. They have been funding these NGOs to exert censorship policies in multiple countries. And so I'm going to just I just want to pull up some of the stuff that I've been looking at on X, which is actually the #1 platform for news now. And so I try to always make sure that I source my information from, real journalists. And, we look at the information, we look at the data. But I just want to kind of just show you right now, like a lot of the conversations, what's going on right now as it pertains to the USAID. Now, Aaron Mate, he wrote, the U.S. government funding propaganda and disinformation via the USAID and NED is a legitimate issue. I agree. Been talking about this for a very long time. Well, let me watch it over here. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me get off let me just put it on the big screen. Right. An equal issue is the fact that establishment media outlets often cite these same USAID, NED funded groups without acknowledging their US state funding. So basically, we've been subjected to state media, state funded media. Remember, I always say, everything that you see in your news media is nothing more than just state sponsored propaganda, that they're nothing more than, oh, look at this. I just got removed from, look at this. I just got a violation on TikTok for misinformation. So let me change my account over. Yeah, so this is one of the things that happens whenever you try to share truthful information and you're on TikTok. TikTok will take you down immediately. And that's actually, see, this is part of the censorship regime. And that's one of the reasons why the USAID has to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch accounts because there were like, I don't know, like 180 people who were watching my live, and the live just got suspended for misinformation. I'm literally reading to you from the reports, and I'm literally getting ready to pull out all the information, but I just got suspended before I even got to say anything to you. And this does happen sometimes because you get people, Democrats, who usually go into these live streams and they'll do mass reporting. They'll mass report your live in order to silence you. They do that because they just don't like people to have access to information. It's so funny, right? Like I'm literally talking about censorship, and while I'm talking about censorship, a trove of Democrat trolls and bots, they flooded into my live stream and they mass reported it and got it taken down for misinformation. So this is the reason why, like, whenever I go live here on these other platforms, I have TikToks like right here next to me. It's not connected to the live stream, but it's separate. It's next to me. And so what I do is I just wait, let me switch this account over. So that's that. I'm gonna move this over. So that's what I always do, because whenever they suspend you on TikTok, you lose the entire video. So that means I won't be able to retrieve that video and download it. So that's why I always stream over here on these other platforms, because I won't lose it. I won't lose the information there. So I'm going back live right now from a different account. Let me refresh this so I can log in. Sorry about the delay. Not too many of you on here yet, so that's cool. I can just get this thing set up nice and peacefully. Let me see if anybody's in the chat. Wow, I got here on time. Left TikTok to watch it from here. So the TikTok live stream got taken down. Yeah. Yeah, this is what they do. Yeah. And this is why I say, no matter what, even though with this, like, when we keep talking about, saving TikTok and all of this bullshit, like, what really are we trying to save with TikTok when they continue to censor us? Like, just think about that. What are we really trying to save? We're trying to save a platform that shuts us down every time we say things that are inconvenient to the establishment narrative. Hell no. That's slavery. That's fascism. Why would I want to? So yeah, so that's why I say, you should stay on X, folks. X and Rumble are the two platforms where I've never faced any type of issues with censorship, any of that stuff. Hey, Tony, left TikTok to come here. Hey, Jenna. Yeah, you got to do all. Yeah, that's pathetic. Sad you have to do all that just to be heard. Yep. Yep. Yeah, my main page got flagged. And now for some reason, you know what's funny? I think they took down my account. I think they might have banned my account. Uh-oh. It's acting like my account doesn't exist anymore. Oh, okay. Here we go. Yep. 1 second. 1 second. I'm live on my backup account. For those of you who know my Tony Talks 10, my 10th account, the backup from the backup, the backup to the backup from the backup. Yeah, you guys can find me over there. All right. I'm on my 10th account. All right, let's look. Let's see if I can find myself. There we go. Cool. All right, we're back. I see your main account. Oh, you still see the account, so it still exists? All right, cool. So anyway, where were we? Damn, it's like you just can't say anything, bro. Let's be careful. See, I can talk on these platforms. I could talk on X. I could talk on Rumble, YouTube. I could talk. So anyway, let's hear. Now today they had a protest because you know that they ordered the I don't think it was Elon Musk. I don't think Elon Musk has the power to order like shutting down the USAID. I believe it was Donald Trump who did that. People keep saying that Elon Musk did it. Elon Musk is the president or whatever, all of this, this corny shit. But they basically, I guess they shut the door. I don't know. They're doing some type of audit of everything, and everyone is outside protesting. So you see a lot of these Democrat senators out there making a little spectacle out of things. So let's see. Tony, what do you think of your boy now? You talking about Trump? Oh, I love everything that Trump is doing right now. Yeah, because I actually I look at the policies and I look at the intention behind it. So yeah, I like what he's doing. I mean, most people are just preoccupied with the delivery. They're preoccupied with their hurt feelings based on the way he talks. So I mean, it's weird that most people who ask that question, because you see a lot of FAFO, fuck around and find out, and then you're like, okay, yeah, we finding out. I'm loving it. I'm loving everything that I'm seeing. Like, who would be angry at cutting all of the wasteful spending? Who would be angry at an administration that is so transparent that they are announcing to you every single action that they are doing multiple times a day? That's crazy. Your stupid president begged Mexico for a pause. Yeah, okay. This is the type of dumb shit that people say, hey, do me a favor. If you're a mod in my backup account, if you're a mod on this account, do me a favor and just stay on the trolls and block them out, because they're going to try to take down my account. Yeah. So anyway, let me go to this. I want you guys to hear this. This was a lot of your Democrats outside today. They were pissed the hell off. And I want you to hear the things that they had to say.
As you probably saw, Elon Musk and his crew put a gag order on AID employees. They disconnected them from email, which is putting lives at risk around the world. So we are here to enter the building, and so we can hear firsthand from whoever is here at AID, or at least witness firsthand what is happening with this Elon Musk attempted takeover, which will not stand. We will prevail. Let's go.
With this Elon Musk attempted takeover. Yeah, do y'all see how they try to just like throw all the focus on Elon Musk to just totally like have you ignore that this is this is by order of the executive branch of government that this takes place, and that Doge is an agency that was contracted by the government to audit the spending. Like, they're just making it all about Elon Musk because it's not even Trump derangement syndrome anymore. It's Musk derangement syndrome now. And here's what's funny. Because you see a lot of, like, you have what's this guy, Wesley Hunt. He's a congressman. I want you to see some of the spending, because they're listen, they putting it all out there. That's the one thing that I like. They're putting all of the information out there on how your tax dollars are being spent. So let's just see some of the things that your tax dollars are being spent on. 20 million for Sesame Street in Iraq. $56 million to boost tourism in Egypt and Tunisia. $40 million to build schools in Jordan. $11 million to tell Vietnam to stop burning trash. $27 million for reintegration gift bags for deported Central Americans. Wait, what? 27 million for reintegration gift bags for deported Central Americans. That's what your tax dollars are paying for. Just so you know. But I want you to hear more from your Congress people. All right, let's go.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are.
Oh, this is Congressman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, a Democrat from Minnesota. Let's listen to her.
Witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one.
Trump wanting, look what she just led with. Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one. That's what she led with. Trump wanted to be a dictator on day one. We already know that's already been debunked. But what else does she have to say?
And here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made.
Install yourself as the sole power. I would like to know what she means by that. Install yourself as the sole power. Does she mean by signing executive orders, which is something that all these presidents do? Like, I'm really interested in what she means by that, because all of this feels like nothing more than grandstanding. You know, like why use rhetoric that has already been debunked? That kind of reminds me of when Barack Obama was at the Kamala Harris rally and he said, you know, find people on both sides. Like, do y'all think that stuff still works? But here is, oh boy, Jamie Raskins. Let's see what he had to say. This should be interesting.
Elon Musk. Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
Wait a minute.
Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. United States Congress controls the money of the American people. That's what he's telling you right there. You have a president that is trying to conduct an audit of all of the money that has been spent, and you have all of Congress. You got all those Democrat Congress members out there trying to stop him from auditing that money. Think about that. Just really think about that. He also said that Congress created the U.S. aid, the USAID. That's not true. It was created by John F. Kennedy via executive order. And I know that there's a congressman, I guess Democrats, they're trying to stall him or stop him from being able to do it. And I know they're saying that it's not constitutional, and it has to be done via a legislation. But I don't think that is true at all. I'm not an attorney, so I'm waiting to see what anyone else has to say about it. I want to speak to someone about this, like, because it says very clearly that the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961, that was signed into law by President Kennedy. And after that, and as a result, he created the USAID by executive order. And we already know that executive orders are often rescinded by, different administrations. An executive order is not a law. So you can't say, oh, Congress has to do this as a matter of law, as legislation, when it wasn't created, when that office wasn't created through legislation. The same way Doge wasn't created through legislation. You understand what I'm saying? So I just think it's a lot of rhetoric. So, but there's more. Now I want to go into the global censorship that we're seeing, because the USAID has been funding global censorship. And I want you guys, let me play it right here.
Disinformation has invaded online conversations on social media.
Oh, this is their advertisement, because they subject all of these NGOs to basically go abide by the terms and agreements to silence you.
Platforms, posing challenges to healthy information environments and threats to democracy. It bolsters authoritarians, weakens democratic voices and participation.
It's so funny. They say that it bolsters authoritarians. Isn't authoritarianism when people control your access to information and censor you? Isn't that authoritarianism when you have a government that decides that they're going to be the arbiters of truth and decide what you're allowed to say and what you're allowed to hear or read? Wouldn't that be authoritarianism, and wouldn't that be a threat to democracy? I think that's the scam that we keep seeing played on us, by this propagandized media that we know has been funded by the state now after this revelation of what the USAID has been doing.
Exploits and exacerbates existing social cleavages and silences opposition.
Wait, bro, they playing in your faces. That's gaslighting. She just said, and silences opposition. Who the hell has been silencing opposition for the past 4 or 5 years? Think about that. Wait. Whoa. Everything that you're listening right there is nothing more than projection. Listen.
Posing challenges to healthy information environments and threats to democracy. It bolsters authoritarians, weakens democratic voices and participation, exploits and exacerbates existing social cleavages, and silences opposition. Countering disinformation and promoting information integrity are necessary priorities for ensuring democracy can thrive.
Misinformation and disinformation, that's the language of communist countries, by the way.
The CEP's Countering Disinformation Guide is a resource including 9 thematic sections and a comprehensive database of interventions, highlighting various approaches for advancing information integrity and strengthening societal resilience to disinformation and other harmful online campaigns.
So, yeah, we're going to use the government to stop people from saying the things that we don't like, the things that we disagree with. That's basically what they're saying. We're going to stop people from telling lies as a matter of law and policy. I mean, just think about that. Should it be illegal for someone to tell a lie? Should they be arrested for telling a lie? Fuck if they get things wrong. I don't care. What if they're intentionally saying something that's not true? Should you be arrested every time you tell a lie? Do we understand what the First Amendment is? Do we know what freedom of speech is? Is this where we are in our politics, where we have Democrats convincing us that people should be arrested? And the funny thing is, they're now trying to be the determinants of what is misinformation and disinformation, what is true, what is false. Meanwhile, they live in the land of subjectivity, where words don't even have meaning anymore. Just think about the hypocrisy of that. Boys could be girls, girls could be boys, women, they don't know what women are. My truth. They can just say whatever the hell they want and just live in whatever bubble of delusion they want to live in. But yet, even while they're saying that there's no such thing as objective truth, they're trying to silence you and criminalize you for saying things that they are determining are a lie. Do we understand the hypocrisy in that? I wonder if anybody understands that. Does anyone understand that?
The International Foundation for Electoral Systems, International Republican Institute, and National Democratic Institute developed this guide with support from USAID through the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening.
Now, you heard they mentioned a Republican organization. Did you guys hear that? And this is why I say left and right wing to the same bird. You got to get those rhinos out of there. See, and that's the thing. A lot of people think that when I criticize Democrats that it means I'm automatically a Republican. No, I'm not. I'm not. We have a corrupt system of government, folks. It is the ruling class against the rest of us. We are in a class war. It's not a race war. It's not this. Well, it's a class war, but I would say the front line of that war it's a war of information. Because they've been lying to us so much, we have no idea what to believe anymore. And when they're hiding so much from you, it's very easy to make you a victim. You're an easy victim. And so let me show you what as a result of, I guess, temporarily shutting down the USAID so they can do this audit, you have now Democrat senators who are putting a hold on Donald Trump's State Department nominees to spite him, basically, to protest. So these are people who are holding up the appointments of crucial members of the administration that we need in there, in the State Department and other offices. We need them in there, but they want to be petty with Donald Trump. So they're like, nah, you know what? Nope, we're not going to let it happen. We're going to leave the American people in danger until you do whatever the hell we want, or we get to stop you from auditing this information. Why are they trying to hide from the American people this information? Has anybody thought about that? Like, why don't they want? What is it that they don't want us to see? That's what I'm wondering. What the hell have they been hiding from us? Oh, now I wanted to show you some of the things that, what's the press secretary's name? Oh gosh, I can't remember her name. Oh, Carolyn Levitt, Donald Trump's new press secretary. So she did, I guess, a brief press conference. She's actually pretty good. She's on point. So she did a quick press conference, and she was just laying out some of the spending that was being done through the USAID, just so you, the taxpayers, get to know exactly how your money's being spent. I mean, do you want to know? Or no, or orange man bad, I don't want to know. I don't want to know how my tax dollars are being spent. Because billions of dollars were spent on propaganda that was going to journalists and going to media outlets like Reuters. Reuters was one of the publications that was named in this. So every time you guys see all of those, the press corps and all those press conferences, all of those people have just been hired to spread propaganda. That's why whenever you look at all of these agencies, you look at all of these articles that are being printed by the Washington Post and Reuters and AP and NPR and all of these things, you notice one thing: they all pretty much have the same headline. They're all taking, like, they got the same talking points. They copy and paste, basically. It's regurgitation of CIA talking points. So here's some of the spending that she was talking to us about. 1.5 million to promote DEI in Serbia's workplaces. You're paying for that. $70,000 for a DEI musical production in Ireland. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. Yeah, that you're paying for that. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to pay for that. I don't want my tax dollars paying for that shit. Are you guys okay with that? Look, it's crazy. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring up a panel in a second. Oh, looks like Tulsi has enough. Oh, somebody said looks like Tulsi has enough votes. Yes, I wanted to say that, Neek, but I don't want to say it out loud because TikTok will, do what they do. You know how that goes. But yeah. What else? Oh, Mexico. So the tariffs, the tariffs that were supposed to go in, I think it was supposed to be as of tonight. No, is it as of tomorrow? When was Trump's tariffs were supposed to go in effect? It was last night, right? I'm not sure if it was last night. I'm gonna have to look that up. But at the last minute, I know Mexico, they were like, hey, hold on. They sat down, they had a little conversation, and Mexico agreed to send 10,000 more troops to the border to help combat. Wait, Canada just caved too? Wait, is this breaking news? Wait. So, Mexico caved for basically a 30-day pause on Trump's tariffs. They sent 10,000 troops down there, more troops, because I think there's like 15,000 there already, but they sent more troops down there in order to regulate the flow of fent into this country. Oh shit. Wait. Damn, I like to verify the sources though. But you know what? Let me put it on the screen. All right, I cannot confirm yet. Okay? But I'm just going to show you, like, this is the first thing that popped up as soon as I went online. Let me show it to you. It says, wait, no, that's Justin Trudeau. Oh, right. He had a call with Trump today. Okay, so Justin Trudeau, he says, he just posted, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our 1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fent, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. I don't want to say I told you so, but see, this is the problem. The man just got in office. He hit the road running from day one, delivering what I would argue is the greatest amount of progress and forward movement that you've seen by any American president in history, and also the most transparent. Whether you agree with his policies or not, that man has had his foot on the pedal from day one. But yet at every turn, at every single decision he has made, every executive order he has signed, there has been the lying ass, manipulating ass, professional managerial class, the mainstream media liars, and Democrat elected officials who have been lying through their nasty teeth the whole time to scare the shit out of you about every single thing that Donald Trump has done. All I've been hearing is orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man bad. That's it. No one cares to look into any of the executive orders. No one cares. And then here's the crazy thing too, because we know that everyone that is right now currently a federal employee is not a Donald Trump appointee. We know that there are a lot of carryovers from the Biden administration. We know there's a lot of TDS even within this current administration now. The man has only been there for 2 weeks. But yet, Every single thing he does, people trivialize it. They put out these fake stories to scare you. They're telling you that he's trying to take away the 14th Amendment. False. They're telling you that he's trying to take away Black History Month. False. Every single thing. They're telling you that he's taking away Social Security benefits and SNAP benefits. False. Every single thing that man does, y'all put out a fake ass story to force people and force him to do quote unquote damage control. And this is why I fuck with Donald Trump, because I see what he's doing. He knows that no matter what he does, y'all gonna blame him for some shit anyway. So he's just gonna do it. You're gonna blame me anyway. You're gonna say I'm effing up anyway. I might as well just do it. And that is what you need in leadership. Someone who's not afraid to be the bad guy. I don't understand how else to explain it to people. Get the job done. So meanwhile, while the left continues to engage in name calling and catastrophizing and panic tactics, trying to scare everyone as if it makes a difference, like y'all forgot that y'all lost this election by an electoral landslide and lost the popular vote, bro. Like y'all forgot about that shit, but you're still doing the exact same thing. Read the room. Read the room. The tactic is not going to work, but you know what? Keep doing it. Keep doing it, because I want to see the work get done. I want to see the work get done. Oh my God, Donald Trump, he's going to cause a tariff war and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Oh my God, Canada. Oh, Canada's going to destroy. First of all, Canada accounts for 1.3% of our GDP. Their imports. Do you know what percentage of Canadian exports go to the United States? More than 70%. The United States will cripple them in a trade war. You got billionaires. What is it? The owner of oh my gosh, some billionaire, some Canadian billionaire just came out today and was like basically saying like Justin Trudeau is an idiot. Like what the hell is he doing? Why not work in partnership? And think of what Donald Trump has been demanding. One, fairer trade deals. But the priority that Donald Trump has made is securing the border. Remember that? Preventing the flow of drugs into this country. That's been the main priority that he's had with Canada and Mexico. Stop letting all of them come up in here, secure that border on your side, and stop the flow of illegal drugs into this country that's killing so many Americans. Is that an unreasonable ask? Is that an unreasonable ask? But no. Every time Donald Trump, he announces an executive action that is for the best interest of the country, because he understands the art of the deal, how to negotiate, you have all of the media, all of these adversarial politicians trying to undermine him at every step of the way. How do you think that makes us look to these other countries where Donald Trump is actually trying to leverage our power and our position? Just think about it. If I'm trying to engage in negotiations with adversaries, economic adversaries, I'm trying to engage in negotiations with them for our collective benefit. Don't you think it's better that we all stand together? Or at least if you don't agree with him, just shut the fuck up for a little bit and let the man cook, let the man work? No. Instead, what they do, oh my God, he's going to destroy, the prices of eggs, everything is going to go up, and oh my God, what's happening? Don't you think they can see you? Don't you think the European Union, the Canadians, the Mexicans, you don't think that they can see you doing this, undermining your president that you elected? Basically telling the world that if Donald Trump does what is in the best interest of the country, you're going to keep fighting him all the way? We see you, Sambo. Yeah, and you know what? This person, there's no profile. That's probably a white liberal. That's probably a white liberal. That's something that white liberals are very good at that. They come into spaces where black And I can't even call myself a conservative, but they come into spaces where black people are who don't fall in line with Democrat politics, and they start calling you coons and sellouts and Uncle Tom and nigger and all of that shit. They don't mind. And they hide behind these profiles, usually profiles with black faces on them. No. It's not about ignoring the haters. No, I want to give attention to those people because I want people to see them for who they are. These are liberals. That's who the white liberals are. I want you all to see who they are. They go behind black profiles on social media where it's nice and safe. And they go into these live spaces, they go into the chat, and they say all of the shit that they don't have the courage to say to your face. That's what they do. The pejoratives that they use, black people don't even talk that way with a lot of the shit. You can always tell where it's a white liberal typing that shit. We see you. We're not fucking with you no more. And that's the thing. This authoritarian like mindset of control over the politics of quote unquote marginalized groups. Bro, these people are wicked. They're demons. So anyway, like I was saying, it does not make sense to undermine your leadership, whether you like him or not, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is the pilot of this plane. And a lot of you liberals are trying to crash the plane in order to prove a point because you're throwing a tantrum. That's crazy. 1 second. Yeah, anyone who uses the term says I'm using misinformation or disinformation or even accuses me of lying, throw them out, block them. Don't mute them, block them. And that's the sad thing, because I like to create spaces for free speech, but unfortunately you get so many of these weird like unhinged Democrats who come into these spaces and they try to get your, they try to censor you. They try to report you for they'll never challenge you. They'll never like come up and talk to you and try to challenge you intellectually. What they'll do is they'll call you names to try to shame you or something, or they'll just call the police by reporting you live. He's spreading misinformation, disinformation. Report. They're Karens. But you know what I'm gonna do? But I want to talk about let's just talk about some of the accomplishments, because now, after all that shit everybody was talking about how Donald Trump is effing up and destroying the world, Canada has caved. Mexico has caved. And what he asked for, he got. What's the new complaint? This is a mental illness. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is a real, this is going to have to go into DSM-5. I'm telling you, this is a real sickness, and it's going to be studied for generations. So Donald Trump has been president for how long now? It's been exactly 2 weeks, right? So Mexico caved, and I'm reading this thing because I saw this post on Instagram, I think. So I want to read it. I didn't go through all of it, but it's like a report of just some of the shit he did in the last 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Mexico caved, Panama caved, Colombia caved, Venezuela caved, Canada panicking. Don't know what that means. Mass deportations. Hostages are home. DEI programs ended. Bureaucracy slashed. FBI purges are underway. USAID funding canceled. Gender ideology eliminated. Doge already saved billions. Facts. 51 Intel agents lost their security clearance. Border crossings dropped by 93%. It's actually 94%. Reservoirs filled up in California. Remember the fires? And that's just a few of the things that Donald Trump has accomplished in just this short amount of time. Like, bro, what the fuck y'all complaining about? But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to TikTok, but I'm going to do it on here. So let me try. Let me share this. And let's put it on the screen. Guys over there? Oh shit, my bad. Hold on. That's what I need to do. All right, here we go. All right, right now I'm on my TikTok panel. Hold on. Let me fix this up for y'all. Yeah. All right. You guys just can't accept. Okay. I'm gonna start letting people up. Hold on. I need to verify that there's no echo. Somebody hit me in the chat so I know that there's no echo over here on Rumble.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Somebody respond in Rumble. No echo. All right, good. We're good. Oh shit, I got a whole bunch of requests. Okay. Time to start letting people up for some conversation.
What's up, Tony?
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, what's up, Tim? Don't let anybody else up. I'll do it. I'll bring them up.
Hey, everything's good, man. I was just listening to that earlier. You know, and the Democrats, boy, they are so scared. You know, Elizabeth Warren and all them were on there and talking about all these things and saying that they had shut down all these payments. Well, we did have one reporter that said, hey, I've talked to so-and-so and it's not shut down. They were able to get their payments. This, that, and other. Said, is it just y'all just have some maybe? Is it supposed to be all over? In other words, they were lying about people not being able to get their payments. And this woman said she knew somebody got their payment, and then they were trying to cover it up like a cat covering up crap. And then it was like right after. I mean, it wasn't maybe one more question, and they already ended the press conference things that they put together. But also, did you see where like $700 million from the Pentagon was going for like sweet rolls or something? Did you see that?
No, there's just so many different reports on a lot of the wasteful spending. It's kind of hard to keep up. So, I mean, I'll probably do another live where I'll track a lot of that stuff because I just really went on. I was gonna just go on TikTok and just casually talk. So this is not really like a podcast episode. I just decided, why don't I just live stream my TikTok? Because we have so many conversations on here, and I think like my audience on the other apps, like the other social media platforms, I think they would really enjoy it. They could benefit from some of these conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Allie.
Hey, Tony. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
A little bit better. Oh, I don't know if it's going on in New York, and I don't know exactly what it is because I've left so many like voicemails for their office. But certain things, like my sister who lives here, she gets funding through the government for like rental assistance and whatnot. And Massachusetts has shut off all funding that's not federal. So federal funding is still available, but state funding is not available. So like the state itself gives off funding for certain things, for certain vouchers for like rental, or like church diocese will give out certain funding for things. And even though the federal funding is still available, like the wait lists and everything, Massachusetts itself is no longer offering the state assistance.
Right, but that doesn't have anything to do with Trump, right?
No. It's nothing to do with Trump. I'm just saying it's convenient how Massachusetts is, which is a predominantly Democrat state, is doing this.
Oh, doing that to their constituents. I got you.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, what they're doing is liberal states are going to start doing this, cutting off funding that comes from the state, and they're going to make it look like Trump did all this.
Like the
You see what
federal
I'm saying?
government is not providing them with funds. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we see the tactics coming. I just hate the fact that a lot of them are willing to throw their constituents under the bus in order to make a point against Donald Trump. And that's the problem that I have, because everyone is so partisan that they don't even care. It's just, as long as you could blame Donald Trump, it's all good. And that's the saddest part about this political environment that we're in, that people aren't really willing to just step back for a second and look at things critically. So, that's the main issue that I have. Hey, Giacomo. What is it?
Hey, but no worries.
Oh, Giacomo, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, brother, how you doing?
All right.
Hey, I got to tell you, it's anecdotal, but it's kind of apropos. When I got out of college, I briefly worked for NIH in the grants division. And even just in the administrative side, and I didn't quite know what I was looking at, but looking back after this 30 some odd years since I was working there, I got a chance to see in grants, medical grants and research grants, just how much money was being wasted, especially when the fiscal year came up. Because what every government agency does when they know the fiscal year is coming up to an end, they run every last nickel through that program. Otherwise, they
lose it.
The money gets lost forever. And I've seen some things that make your hair and my hair grow back, my man. So I'm ecstatic to see that the free ride is over across the board. There'll be some accountability finally.
Nice. And you ever notice that there's never any change? Like with all of the spending of these budgets, there's never any change.
Oh, not a bit. And it's ridiculous. And I watched it happen. Like, you better spend that. Go ahead and buy another back of pens. Go ahead, spend it. Well, we don't need any more. Yes, we do. All right.
Wow. All right. Hey, by all means.
How you doing, man? I'm probably not going to be somebody you like.
All right.
We
don't disagree. We agree. We disagree. It's okay. It's conversation.
We agree. We disagree. For the life of me, I'll never understand. So let me start off by saying this: for any Trump supporter, for whatever reason you justified voting for him, I no longer want to hear any conversation about the character of a man matters. You can no longer, you and any other supporter can no longer use the argument that character matters. Morals matter, ethics matter. That you can claim for now that policy matters, that how I handle business matters, but you can no longer claim, especially on a high horse, that character matters. How I treat people matters, right? Whether we pick and choose. Now, mind you, I'm an independent. And when I say independent, I don't care if Joe Biden was sitting right next to Donald Trump in prison, or Hunter Biden. I don't care if all three of them were in prison. As a matter of fact, lock Hillary up. But the fact that I can say that, and no Trump supporter that I've been aware of can say, you know what, probably we probably shouldn't have a convicted felon in there. If in fact we say that we are a nation of laws, we can't pick and choose as a people under those laws that we believe that everything against this person is a conspiracy. Because if that's the case, brother, if I were ever charged with a crime, whether I committed it or not, my defense going forward and forevermore should be, it's a deep state conspiracy against me. Whether I committed the crime or not, this system is rigged and I should be found innocent. Mm-hmm. So if it applies to the president of the free world, it should apply to me.
Okay. So let me ask you something. Is it possible for you to be falsely convicted of a crime?
Since the 1970s?
Oh, only since the 1970s?
So if brother, to answer your question simply, if I were consistently accused of being a criminal from the 1970s all the way into the 2000s.
Hold on. Wait. See, I don't want to go on tangents because you said a lot, right? And you seem to be operating from the premise that because someone was convicted of a crime that they are somehow, they are definitely guilty, right? That, as if to erase any instances of people being falsely convicted. It also erases the fact that lawfare was used against Donald Trump. And I say that because Joe Biden literally said he was going to do it. And so are you saying that weaponization of the criminal justice system against a political enemy or a political opponent, the successful weaponization, should be the determinant of the character of a person, or should it be the person's actions? Are you just basically saying it's better to just convict the person in court of public opinion? Because what you just did just now to say that, you know, like, character means nothing because he's a convicted criminal. I know a whole bunch of convicted criminals that are good people. Shit, I'm a black man that lives in New York City. I know a whole bunch of felons. They're good people. So when I hear like Democrats or so-called independents, because I can't seem to find a Democrat anywhere anymore after this election, it's like all of a sudden everybody's an independent. Nobody ain't no Democrat no more. Everybody's an independent. I'm just like,
I keep hearing how you utilize your blackness along with your geography. I watch your lives, and you have this subtle reminder to the audience that you're a black man from New York. I'm also from New York. I'm from the Bronx, and
okay.
I'm not certain what publication you watch. Was it the Post, Daily News? I'm not sure if it was Channel 7, Channel 4. I'm not sure how you received your news growing up, but I'm not sure what version of Trump you grew up with that somehow I didn't. He's always been a criminal. He's always been accused of crimes.
Can you help me understand? Give me an example how Donald Trump has always been a criminal.
He's always been a tax evader. He's always not paid
Donald Trump went to jail for tax evasion?
You asked me what crimes has he been accused of.
Accused.
You asked me what crimes has he been accused of. Those are your words. I'm answering your words. I didn't say charged and convicted. I said accused.
Right. So that substantiates it, because you said he's been a criminal since the 70s or something. So all right.
So you know what? Apparently, you know, you and other black folk who like to use their blackness as some sort of deflection.
Are you using blackness? I made a correlation based upon the criminal justice system to make the correlation, because I know I live in probably one of the most anti-black Democrat-run cities where there is a lot of weaponization of the law. So that is the correlation as to why I brought that up, just to make it very clear that I understand what weaponization of the criminal justice system is about.
Oh, and yeah, so poor wealthy billionaire, he's experiencing the same thing that you and I would in the inner city. I see.
Poor wealthy billionaire. Do you hate Donald Trump because he has more money than you?
Hate. See, this is what you guys do.
It's a question. I'm not you guys. I'm Tony.
You put words. No, because you sound like other extreme cultist members. That it's the same talking points.
Yeah, but bro, see that's the problem too. Like when you guys come up here and you tell people like me, you sound like this cultist man, or you sound like Trump, or you sound like that. No, I sound like me. Maybe somebody else may sound like me, but I have my own agency over my own thoughts and my own opinions. So when you come up here and you try to brand people, which is what you've been doing since you got up here, you guys, y'all cultists, you this, that, the other, you come up, it kind of hurts your argument, because everything that you're doing is through this labeling of people. So I'm trying to get to your opinion. Like, I want a little bit more. Can you substantiate your arguments a little bit more without like the ad hominems? Can you do that?
Sure. So once again, he's been charged with, he's been accused. Let me be clear. He's been accused of fraud, waste, and abuse. The very things that he now claims that he wants to drain from the government. You know, it's mostly ironic that if I were to unsuccessfully run 50 businesses and I have success with one of them, but the other 49 went under because of mismanagement, fraud, waste, and abuse, for somehow anybody to call me a successful businessman, because I managed to keep afloat one of my businesses that hasn't been charged with. Now, I've had universities that have been has been accused of fraud that I had to settle. I've had people accuse me.
Wait, did you say 49 failed businesses and one successful one? You're not making a correlation to Donald Trump with that, right?
Don't focus on the number, but focus on the fact. Focus on what I'm saying, not the number. The number may
no. Your example, I would definitely have to focus on the number, because you're saying that if I was a failure in everything I did except for one time, I definitely have to focus on the number, because the correlation would not apply. Because Donald Trump, he had 5 or 6 failed businesses that he restructured through bankruptcy out of like 500 to 600 businesses. So that's 1%.
I'm telling you, man, it's as if, you know, remember Waco, Texas, and the people that did not.
All right, right. So called, right. Here comes ad hominems again. I get it. You know, the problem is, funny. No, it's not funny. And this is what makes it, it's not funny, actually. It's actually really sad that, you know, I try so hard to have good faith conversations with people like you, but then you come up and you try to, you speak in this condescending, arrogant tone, as if it's supposed to establish you as some type of intellectual or some type of authority, or like you're schooling somebody, when the majority of the time you don't know what you're talking about. So it's easier for you to label me as a cultist or some Waco, Texas bullshit, but you're just up here to be condescending with no substance. What is your argument? What are you trying to articulate outside of the ad hominems? What is your point? Do you actually have a point, or do you just want to get on a platform and say, hey, I'm smarter than you, even though I can't explain why? What exactly are you saying?
I don't mind you seeing my face just to prove that I have nothing to hide from. So, you know, listen, if we can deflect for a second and talk about immigration, because I would like to get your point, your understanding that as a black man, how is it?
Oh, we're back to being black men. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm fine with it, but you kind of hit me with the, I noticed that when you guys have these talking points, you default to blackness. I just want you to see hypocrisy, but let's go.
I understand that you're alive, brother. If you, and that's fine. You can overtalk. So listen, the fact that I even have to bring up blackness is because you not only opened the door, you kicked it open and threw it.
Okay, it was my fault. Cool, got you. Go ahead.
Okay, so as a black man, that you tell everybody you black, you from New York and everything, but you help me understand what your fascination is with illegal immigration. Because if you're of a certain age, I'm 44, 15 years before I was conceived, we didn't have the right to vote in this country. And it just behooves me how someone like myself or you, who look like we're around the same age, could somehow open your mouth and honor your ancestors. Happy Black History Month, by the way, and honor your ancestors with the same talking points that their oppressor used when we were no longer wanted in this country after our slave labor was used and tossed aside. So that the fact that we use the same talking points, they bring no value. I'm not saying you, brother, right? Because I don't think I've heard you say these particular things, but MAGA in general, we have this big focus on the southern border, this huge focus on the southern border, as if people from Latin America are the only ones pouring into this country. Not one time have I heard about the northern border or any other border that we have. It's this focus on immigrants from Venezuela and Mexico and Guatemala.
Got you.
I don't want to see a MAGA supporter in a Spanish and a Mexican restaurant for the rest of my days. I don't want to see you eating a taco.
Wait. Why not? There's not legal. There's not legal Mexicans in the country that I could go to their restaurants.
Of course there is, but the majority of those restaurants are supported by illegal immigration.
That sounds kind of what?
The majority of the customers that support those businesses are undocumented or visa or asylum seekers.
I don't agree with that, but honestly, that sounds kind of, like bigoted, what you just said. But hey, listen, here's the thing. You asked me the question, why? You said, why am I fascinated with it? Like this thing. It's not that I'm fascinated with it.
I'm half Puerto Rican, by the way, so you can't throw the bigoted against Latino against me. So go ahead.
No, absolutely I can. Absolutely. Because I can say, because I can say things that are bigoted against my own community. So yeah, that doesn't matter.
You can say something that's prejudice against your own community.
Yeah. Bigoted, prejudice. So you said a lot, but I'm going to focus on the two major points that you made. One, you asked me what was my fascination with the illegal immigration, and the other question you said was like about the talking points. I think you said like I'm using the talking points of the oppressor. Is that like the two major premises?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the first, somebody remind me of the second the second part with the talking points, okay? Because I really want to hone in on that. But first, the reason why I have a problem with that, well, one, I definitely have a problem with that because as a black man, as you started this part off, and I definitely want to make this very clear. I understand that illegal immigration in this country disproportionately affects the black community. So when we talk about my obsession with it, no, it's me speaking in protection of my own community that continues to get bamboozled and to get railroaded to the point that our communities are always flooded with illegal immigrants that black men in particular always have to compete with in the job market. The majority of industries that I don't know, it's funny, but the majority of
that did you see trying to go after those jobs?
Okay, bro, let's give me a second because I let you talk, right? 52% of black people work in the same industries, essential services, the service industries, trades. They work in those same industries that are primarily occupied by illegal immigrants who come into this country. We've seen them being flooded into our neighborhoods in Chicago, in New York City, in blue cities, where they are immediately ushered into certain neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods are primarily occupied by people that look like you and me. And our resources have been pledged to those people by giving them public benefits, by giving them welfare, by giving them medical, by putting them in our schools, by giving them cash, by giving them clothes, putting them in hotels. So they have been given carte blanche treatment, while many of the people that look like us and veterans are actually kicked out or moved aside in order to make room for those people. So when it's interesting that you laughed about the job market, because I don't know if you know anything about construction. I'm a GC, so I know about the disproportionate presence of illegal immigrants in those trades, in those industries. You ever been to a construction site in New York City? Because you said you're from New York. And if you go to a construction site, you see nothing but Mexicans out there. You might see a black dude out there, and he's probably the one that's holding the sign in the street guiding traffic that says slow. So whenever people use this talking point of they're taking what jobs, nobody wants those jobs, I always sit back and I see brothers like, hello, we want to work, but people like you tend to subscribe to this idea that we're all lazy in the United States. Black men obviously don't want a damn job. We're too lazy for a job. So it's better to give it to the illegal aliens. And then what makes it even worse is you're actually advocating for exploitation. You're advocating for slave labor. And when you talk about these talking points of white supremacists or talking points of the oppressor, let me just say it very clearly. You've already spoken in what I would call bigoted terms as it pertains to the Mexicans. Let's say that. And let's talk about these oppressor talking points. I know in the 1860s, when it was time to free the slaves, all I heard was, who's going to pick my crops? That's all I see. Who's going to pick my crops? Who's going to clean my toilets? Who's going to wash my bathroom? Who's going to raise my kids, take care of my kids? And what is the argument of the Democrats today? Who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to clean our bathroom? Who's going to do the housekeeping? Who's going to take care of our kids? So I would argue that you are repeating the talking points of your oppressor, because you're regurgitating the same talking points that have been fed by Democrats who are the party of slavery. There was no party switch. This is the party that is the party of Jim Crow. It was actually the Republicans who freed the slaves. So it was actually a Democrat, Strom Thurmond, who did the longest filibuster in American history to prevent the Civil Rights Act. So I just think a lot of the things that you're saying, there's no basis in historical fact for what you're saying. It's all rooted in emotion, what you're saying, and talking points that have been fed to you by people that have been lying to you and making you think that my gauge and your gauge of your blackness is supposed to be measured by your proximity and your allegiance to white liberals. And I'll land there.
Woo!
It's as if
definitely a mic drop for sure.
It's as if you had that written down somewhere.
No, it's just that he has to repeat it to people like you over and over again, because
Yes,
it's like
ma'am.
you guys just don't understand. You don't get
ma'am.
it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Bro, you want an ice pack? You all right?
No, chill. No. Because honestly, like this is actually, I may sound passionate when I talk, but that's how I talk. You know what I'm saying? But
I have no issue with the way you're saying it, brother.
No. I just want to make it clear, because I don't want you to think like I'm trying to like yell at you or beef at you. But the thing is, it is frustrating to me to hear people. One, I would say people who I would argue have a shared history with me in a certain respect, who come up and try to judge or condemn me or label me as somehow not part of the group or subject me to this purity test of my blackness based upon this weird interpretation of loyalties, when most of the time the people like you who do that, you're actually putting me to this purity test of how good of a white liberal I should be.
I have yet to call you a house Negro or a coon or any other derogatory term. I have yet to say anything disrespectful about your particular character. I have not done so. So you just said I was labeling you. So I wasn't. If
you did. Yeah, cultist. Yeah, you did.
If I labeled anybody, I labeled the entire I labeled a good majority of the what I see as a cult.
Yeah, which you included me in. Yes. Brother, let's not be disingenuous, brother. All right? Because you spoke of me the way I'm talking, you don't understand why I just don't want to. Let's not be disingenuous. All right, go ahead. But just don't be disingenuous.
Can I ask him a question real quick, Tony? I mean, I've got a question. I want to ask him. I want to hear what he's got to say based off of your reply to his claim a while ago when he was talking about you're repeating the same talking points that your oppressors. And Tony gave you the example that the Democrats today, what they're saying as far as illegal immigration, you know, they're like, well, if you deport all these people, who's going to pick your crops? Who's going to do all this? Who's going to build your house? You do understand that was the exact same argument that the southern states made when they tried to get rid of slavery. So do you have a rebuttal for that, or do you concede that point?
So let me back up to when I first came in and I said I'm an independent. So I need to be clear that while I heard you say in the beginning, Brother Tony, that, you know, people come up here claiming to be, air quote, independent.
Yeah.
They lean one way or the other.
Can I just ask you real quickly, what Republican did you vote for? Who was the last Republican that you voted for? That's
George W.
Okay, all right.
So and I would have voted for Governor Kasich, the former governor of Ohio, if he had made it far enough. I believe he was a middle of the road Republican. And I believe he had good character. He was a good person. To answer your question more broadly. So again, when I first came in here, I said, I don't give a darn if you take Joe Biden, Trump,
Throw 'em all in
Hillary,
jail.
his
Right.
mama, I don't care if you take half the Republicans and half the Democrats and lock them in the same prison. I do
Right.
not care. I have no allegiance, neither to this flag or to a party. Okay. And I say that as a veteran. Okay. I know we mentioned veteran earlier. And the reason that I wanted to bring up my former career is that I believe we took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it doesn't just mean in wartime. It means that we have an obligation, whether I disagree with the brother or sister standing next to me, to my left or my right, I have an obligation to defend their liberty, their right to believe whatever the hell they choose to believe, right? And while I also come across passionate, I don't have no issue with you, brother. I wish you prosperity and happiness and your family. I wish everybody on the panel. I just know that there's going to be a FAFO moment for all of us, and I believe yours is coming. And the last point I want to make about immigration is.
But wait, but are you going to respond to the point?
You're going to
that I
answer the
made to you?
question.
Because you just went somewhere else. I mean, I posed it to you. MJ asked the same thing to you. You accused me of using the language of the oppressor, and I pointed out to you an example of you regurgitating language that directly mirrors that of slave owners, former slave owners in the South, where they did not want these people to leave or be released or removed because of the convenience of having them pick their crops and do things for them, the convenience for them. You're saying the same argument, so I'm asking you, what do you?
So the argument and the question, the premise of the question is that Democrats, by and large, are the ones saying that there will be nobody to pick the crops and mop the floors, and the honest truth to that is it's the Latin community themselves that are saying that. It is not Democrats or liberals or independents that are largely putting out that message. It is the Latino community themselves that are telling you and us, right, that if you remove them, first of all, this notion that everybody here is an illegal immigrant, you can't have an open border. You can't blame Biden for having an open border and say at the same time that they're illegal, right? And I'll tell you what I mean. So if they're illegal, which means they came across, if we let them in, this notion that we let them in, which means they came across through illegal means, we let them in, and legally they are here. And synonymously, we also say that they're illegal. They can't be both one and the same. So you're going to accuse Joe Biden of letting them in, or you're going to accuse them of being illegal.
It's accusing Joe Biden. It's accusing Joe Biden of facilitating breaking the laws of the land.
Joe Biden was breaking the laws of the land.
Yes.
Okay, so then why isn't he being prosecuted and thrown in prison?
I think he should be.
Okay, he should be thrown in prison and prosecuted under the laws of the United States if he was found guilty by a jury of his peers.
Yes, because we see what he did.
Okay. I agree. If found guilty by a jury of his peers under the Department of Justice, he should be thrown in prison. Now explain to me,
because
with a straight face, how that doesn't apply to Donald Trump.
I think because you didn't listen to what I just. What did I say? What did I interject? What did I add?
There's a huge leap between a 175.05 charge and a USC 2383 charge.
Yeah, but I also said because we've seen what he did, we've witnessed it. This was something that we experienced in real time. All of the evidence is laid out of what he did to us, what he allowed, the clear violations of the law. This is documentation. There's incontrovertible evidence.
Incontrovertible documentation.
And there were actual victims.
Victims. Okay, incontrovertible evidence, victims. All right. So you mean to tell me that the January 6th Commission didn't lay out a precise timeline of crimes that Donald Trump committed?
No.
But we don't know what the January 6th
video?
committee, we don't know what the J6 committee actually did because they started deleting evidence. So, you know, we're trying to make sure.
You said be genuine, brother.
We are being genuine. I could talk any of these cases with you. Again, I don't think you understand the leap that you're trying to make from a 17505 charge to a 2383 charge.
Oh,
I mean, we can have that discussion later. I'm just trying to figure out where you're going with this.
It's crazy how y'all tell other people to be genuine.
No, I mean, we can have this conversation. You've just got to be more precise.
He's getting emotional because he doesn't really know exactly. I don't
Why
know.
did he run?
Oh, he ran?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wanted to ask him, because you just went over a whole list of what Donald Trump has done in the last couple of weeks. Okay. He's done more than Biden has done in 4 years. And with all of that being said, he goes to J6, being black, this and that. Like, what did he have to say about all of the accomplishments these past couple of weeks?
You know, I think after that speech that Tony gave, I believe this guy has just got some really crazy information. He really don't know what to believe. And then after he heard Tony, I mean, how can you have the truth laid out in front of you? And I think he was thinking about, hey, you know what?
Well,
it kind of makes sense right here.
I don't think
So
I don't
it may
think
not be beyond repair.
I don't think he received anything.
You don't think so?
No, I think he just realized that he wasn't dealing with an intellectual lightweight. He came up.
He ran out of talking
Yes.
points on his script that he was looking at.
Yeah,
Gary.
he didn't.
Well,
he challenged.
I mean, I've heard people with bad information, but he had some of the worst information I've heard on here.
Yeah, but
I mean, his talking points.
Right. I like to let them talk, and that's the crazy thing. Just let them talk, and then it'll be revealed. Like, I don't have to, you know, call you names and label you, and you Trump supporters, y'all do that. The dude got emotional and left. That's one of the problems that I have, especially with these. Listen, man, he ain't no damn independent. I think there's something else going on.
No way.
Something else going on. Are there any like Democrats or any Trump haters? How about that?
Yeah, there's some.
There's a long ass queue.
I'm sure there's some independents out there.
Are there any independents that want to come up? Just put a blue heart in the chat real quick. And it's not because I really do try to, you know, find some type of common ground, right, to understand what they're talking about, because maybe, you know, you might get through. Maybe they'll teach me something. But when you come in here trying to, you know, talk down your nose at people, you're going to get embarrassed. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing?
I'm great. How we doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's on your mind?
Has anyone tried to call their local, state, federal representatives within the last 24 hours?
Within the last 24 hours? No. Why?
Yes, mine hate everybody within our state. They don't actually care about the people, so they never answer.
Okay.
I actually spoke with one of my congressmen this morning.
Has anyone gone to
Oh shit! I a legislator.
VA.gov?
Okay.
Has anyone gone to the website VA.gov within the last 24 hours?
No. Pete.
As a veteran, I would encourage you to look at that website and more than 10 government websites and look up at the left-hand corner. You'll see this little flag with 9 stars representing the American flag. Those 9 stars, which I looked up on Google, represents the first 9 states that conceded from the Union.
Oh boy.
And sounds like a conspiracy.
Sir, it's on the websites. I am not lying. I'm not pretending. I'm not trying to.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, when you looked it up, sir, what did you look that up on? Did you look it up on a reliable source, or did you just look it?
VA.gov.
No, I'm talking about what it meant. The 9 stars.
Yes, I googled it.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Is someone on this?
Like, where are you going
Go
with
to
this?
the website that I mentioned, VA.gov. Look and see if you see that flag with the 9 stars.
Okay, what does it mean? Where are we going with this, sir? Please.
It means,
The government, as of today,
oh my God,
has let us know that. Oh my Lord,
brother,
get to the point, sir. Please.
Brother, look. Let me show you.
Oh,
God.
let me show you what I'm talking about. The 9 Confederate states that conceded from the United States. Civil War.
Hold on.
Left-hand side.
Let me zoom in. It's so tiny. It's like you
Yes,
can't
look it up.
It's so tiny. I don't
That's
think
why
they
did it
to do all the white dots on it.
Excuse me, 9 dots.
They couldn't fit 50 dots on there, sir.
50 dots on it. It's like it's this small.
Excuses that you do not want to actually understand.
Okay.
Look up the definition of the 9 stars on the American flag.
We'll do that, sir.
Okay, we will.
And I'll sit here and wait.
No. Was there anything else you wanted to say? I mean, we'll look it up. I mean,
okay, I would like your feedback on that.
We gotta look it up, sir.
No, I think that you're. I think that you're kind of. I think. I don't know.
For a panel that likes discussions and proving facts, why am I getting all laughs and giggles?
Anybody remember Stretch Armstrong back in the day? That toy, you could stretch him anywhere you wanted to, like across the block. Here's what we got here. Why not all of the Confederate states? Why just the 9?
Why are the 9 stars representing the American flag?
That's what I asked you, my man. I said, why not
on the
all
government website?
Why not all?
Why not all of the Confederate states? What's special about those 9? Or which
They
9?
were the first 9 states to succeed in the Confederacy.
How many are Confederate?
Oh, hold on. My sister said it has not been changed since 1960.
What has been changed since 1960?
The stars on the website, sir.
Yeah.
Or the stars, or whatever you're talking about.
Because the next question I was going to ask is, why didn't they just put a Confederate flag on there instead of that one?
I am so happy you asked that.
Oh, Lord.
I call myself less intelligent. I know I only have a high school education. I went to service at 17 years old. I would like for your panel, if you're so right on everything that you believe, explain to me what those 9 stars represent and why are they on U.S. government sites?
Because the U.S. government is Confederate and far right and fascist.
The U.S. government is
and
Confederate.
racist.
So
And
what
they
does
want
that
us
tell
back
you?
in chains,
We
sir.
are
They
not
want
the
us back
United
in
States
chains.
of America anymore.
They're going to put us back in chains like Joe Biden told.
Nobody said anything about chains.
Well, that's what they want because it's 9 stars on the website.
What does the 9 stars represent?
Tell me the 9
Oh my
states.
God.
And
Wait,
why is
you're talking about
why
the
is that
9
star on a
Why only 9 states?
That's what I want.
Hold on. This is a post-Civil War reunion UCV flag. The 9 stars symbolize the first 9 states to secede from the Union at the beginning of the Civil War. But it's a reunion UCV flag, whatever that means.
Okay. Why would that American flag be on a government
I don't know. It
website
says
instead of the 50 stars on the American flag?
No, but listen, I gave you your explanation. It says it's a reunion UCV flag, whatever that means. So this was after the Civil War. Okay.
Can someone explain to me what it's doing on the government website?
Put MJ in the
If
big box.
you actually look there, that's a screenshot from January 11th, 2022, and the exact same flag is on there.
Under
Why
Joe
is it
Biden.
now a problem?
Under Joe Biden.
I don't think so.
I
Sir.
do think so. Look at there, January
Looking at
11th,
it.
2022. This is way back machine.
I got
This
my
is a
glasses.
screenshot.
Could you blow
From
that
January
up a little
11th.
bit larger? Because
Oh my God. You want to
Come
count
on,
the stars
man,
together too?
no, I'm just asking. If you can't do it, you can't do it.
Give me a second. I will blow it up for you. But yes, this is a screenshot from January 11th, 2022, from the archives. Okay, but I will blow that up for you. Hang
Well, let
on.
me ask you, does this flag being up there, does this discriminate against anybody that's looking on the VA website from getting potential benefits? Is it doing that?
I've already begun losing my benefits. They canceled some of my physical therapy appointments.
Okay, but I'm saying this has been up since the 1960s. So from the 1960s, have you had any issues receiving benefits until recently?
I was born in 1960.
Can you just answer the question?
Sir, here is zoomed in. The
There you
date is 2022 under Joe Biden, and the flag is the same. So
Yeah, someone said you can't fit all 50 stars in an 8-bit image, meaning if it's too small, you can't fit all the stars in there.
That's what I said from the beginning, but he didn't want to take that.
we going back in chains, y'all.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back with you guys with more research.
Uh-huh.
I want somebody to explain to me they can't fit 50 stars on that flag.
Sir, I think that argument's irrelevant when we've got images going back to 1996 from every single year showing the exact same flag. And just today, you thought it was an issue.
I've been on the government website 1,000 times. This is the first
And you've
time
never noticed
I've
that?
seen it.
You've never noticed that?
Never
until today?
noticed it because
Okay.
guess what?
Red car theory.
If that has been there all of
That
this
has been there.
time, why is it so small that no one ever noticed it?
Because nobody was looking for it. Again, like Tony just said, red car theory. Your confirmation bias is kicking in. You want to find something wrong. You're looking for it. You're going to find it at every turn.
Absolutely.
And that's,
Yes.
that's why they canceled my physical therapy. Okay.
Are you saying that the VA is not operational? I actually turned in 2 RFPs to the VA today.
Excuse me?
Nothing.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wisdom.
Have a nice day.
Hey, Tony, you know, you're talking about that red car thing. I was thinking about that a few weeks ago, and you know, it's almost like this. Have you ever got like a car that you hadn't had before, and as soon as you get the car, you start seeing those cars everywhere, but before that, you really didn't see them? Does that make
That's
sense?
right.
It's because you're looking for it.
Yes. Are there any oh, maybe this independent person. Who's that got all that noise? Somebody's gonna have to mute. Oh yeah, that's Tim. Hello, independent. Hi. Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. No, I mean, like I listened to everything you told that guy that was like half Puerto Rican.
Uh-huh.
It's hard to hear
Yeah,
you.
and
Come closer to your mic if you
hold
can.
on.
Guys, I don't want to have a panel full of Trump supporters, so I want some Trump haters. I don't want to say haters, but
I'm not a Trump supporter.
yeah. Are there any non-Trump supporters that want to come up and talk? Go ahead, independent.
No, I'm just saying, you know, that they saying how come they don't go after Joe Biden? I mean, Joe Biden pardoned himself, pardoned everybody involved, you know. So I mean, that's something that Donald Trump didn't do. he had the courage, to not pardon himself or his family. He went through the whole struggle. People saw it, and that's why he won the popular vote.
Right.
But
And if he did do something wrong, he would have pardoned himself, right?
Right. So I mean, why did he pardon the whole January 6th committee? Bunch of weirdos, that I mean, you see these people, what they look like. It's like it looks like a clown show, And and Liz Cheney, should they just retire? This woman is like, they just giving so much publicity. He's like, go away already. I mean, go on with your life, So anyway, I the first time I'm in your show, and I really like, your reasoning and everything, and the reason I'm independent because but
Okay.
We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Your mic is going out.
Thank you.
I'm conservative.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your support, and that's right. You're on the right side of history, so that's good. Thank you very much for coming up and joining us. Thank you. Yeah, he got a bad connection. Yeah, so I'm gonna do like a little 2-minute timer. I mean, if you're opposition, you'll probably be up here a little longer, but I want to give everybody a voice, but I am trying not to create an echo chamber up here. So let's talk. The floor is yours.
Well, I was gonna say to this guy who said the popular vote, and people don't really know where the popular vote come from. The popular vote is the people that from the district. The popular vote is people from the district. Is your local representative. That's who's popular vote is. I believe that if Trump did 4 years before, right, didn't accomplish nothing, why do we think that he's going to accomplish something now? He's putting in tariff, and people think that tariff is taxing the company from out of state, from out of a different country, but it's not. Because, for instance, if Walmart shipping from out of the United States, and once that product get in the United States, who you think is going to pay that tariff? Do you think is the country that the product is coming from, or Walmart?
The importer.
No, there's a person who's going to get it from, right. So is Walmart is going to pay that tariff. And if Walmart decide, hey, we're gonna so who you think is going to pay that tariff? The other country, right?
MJ, maybe you want to, anybody? Don't do this to me. MJ?
It's your life.
Go with it.
No, I'm just, it's a legitimate question though, right? If there's a company from United States is exporting from their product from out of the United States, and once the product get into United States, who's going to pay that tariff?
Technically, the company pays it, not the people.
Exactly. The company paid it, but it's a United States company. So if the United States company decide, hey, I'm not going to pay that tariff, who you think is going to pay that tariff? They're going to tax it, right?
What options does that company have at that point? Let's just say you said Walmart. Let's just say Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say that Walmart brings in, let's just say jeans, and all of these jeans are coming from China, right? They buy, and there's a 25% tariff on it, or 50%, whatever. What options does Walmart have? Do they have any options?
Walmart can decide to pay that tariff and then tax it to the United States.
I mean, do they have any other options? Do they have to buy that from China, or can they source that from another vendor? I mean, here in the United States, domestically?
Yeah, I mean, they can source from a different vendor, but it's still gonna cost way more than what the price they would get.
Wouldn't that cause
basically
a huge...
what I'm saying is still gonna require tax for them to cover the okay, I don't know what I'm talking
No,
about.
no, I understand what you're saying. I get that. But my question is, so if Walmart all of a sudden decides to start buying jeans from companies here in the United States, wouldn't that be a huge increase in demand for American-made jeans here in the United States, which would in turn lower costs on jeans manufactured here in the United States and increase the manufacturing capability of those jeans here in the United States?
And eliminate tariff costs?
But I think it would. So looking at economy, the side that I'm coming from, right? Yes, it would create more revenue to the United States, but they're gonna still pay a higher price for it. So basically, you know, if you buy something, you're gonna mark it up so you retrieve your money back, right? And you're gonna need some kind of profit. So now the tax is gonna be more higher, don't you think?
Well, I mean, it depends. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there is going to be, you know, the end user, the buyer is going to see a little bit of an increase in price initially. I can agree to that. But the increase in price that you see compared to what could potentially take place here in the United States and a boost to the economy and an increase to the value of your dollar could potentially outweigh whatever increase that you see. So we've seen some analyst estimates that show that this could potentially boost the U.S. economy and cause a growth of like 2.5%. Now we average 2.5% growth per year, 2 to 2.5%. But let's just say in 1 year you increase that another 2.5%. You're looking at a 5% growth in 1 year to the U.S. economy. That's a savings to the taxpayer to the tune of about $18,000.
So
and the estimates that we're seeing now is the increased cost based on tariffs to the United States taxpayer would be like $800 per taxpayer.
So let's flip it the other way around though. What about food? Because the average person needs food, right? And a lot of fruits and food don't come from the United States, right? That you see in the supermarket, right?
Yeah.
So basically when those export come in, right, and they're charging tariff, that means you're going to get a higher price coming from the fruits and stuff that we need, because we need to eat healthier, right? So what my worries about is those import are coming in, the tariff is going to be in those import, and then now, you know, the regular people who have a regular job who get, you know, $10, $15 an hour, you know, because the tariff and those things, and the tax is going to go up, those people are not going to be able to afford, you know, eating healthy and stuff like that. Do we ever think about stuff like that though? I'm not saying
we're not capable of growing our own fruits and vegetables.
But are we doing that though?
Okay. We're never gonna agree on this topic. So I don't know if Tony, you want to introduce the next guest that's up here?
It's not about interviews. Agree is about having a healthy conversation, right? Because maybe you guys can teach me something that I don't know. Because like you said earlier on, like, hey, look, for instance, when you use jeans as an example, I get that. And I agree with him, right?
Right. I think that, you know what? I think this would be a long conversation to go through, like the whole makeup of tariffs. But the point of the tariff is to bring industry back and spending back domestically, right? It incentivizes more, more businesses to manufacture, bring manufacturing and things like that back to the United States, which will have a net positive effect on the economy. You're going to see a marginal increase, but then even when people talk about like tariffs, it's a multi-step process, you know, before it gets to the consumer. So a lot of times you will see absorption of costs, whether it goes from the importer to the wholesaler. So, you know, they're going to look at their profit margins, but it's not going to be like this whole straight off transfer of cost straight onto the consumer like a lot of people are talking about.
Right. And even if it is, even if it is a short time increase, that's what we voted for. It's a short term. I wouldn't even call it a suffering. It's just a short term increase for a long term solution versus a short term happiness for a long term,
much longer recovery. Yes.
Right.
So then, So I guess I have a question for that then. So sorry, I'm obviously not a Trump supporter. I don't consider myself a hater, but definitely don't agree with a lot of his policy. I will say this about what you guys just said about the tariffs, though. If you guys think that it's a longer term strategy in order to build manufacturing in America, then what do we think about the Trump steel tariffs during his first term and how those affected us long term? You guys just kind of omit those because those were a mistake? Or do you think that that's not the same type of tariff and it's going to be different this time? But how do you respond to just the ones that we've already seen him do and what that did to other sectors?
Well, wouldn't that have been a short-term effect because didn't Biden reverse it?
Biden did, yeah. I think they lasted for 4.5 years, I believe, or sorry, 3.5 years.
Yeah, and we did see the price of U.S. steel decrease during that time. So I think it accomplished part of the goal. I'm not going to say that it was that he hit it out of the park, but I guess it depends on what the actual goal is, what we're looking for. Because me personally, I've kind of looked at his rhetoric when it comes to tariff as simply a negotiating tool.
Negotiation, yeah.
For sure. And I think that's true, right? And I look even what he did with Mexico, right? Like it brought them to the table seriously to consider changes that we wanted to make, but it also meant us making concessions as well. But those concessions
did the same thing to Canada too. I mean,
for sure,
came out today.
Canada
Yeah,
did the same thing.
for sure. And as far as tariffs being used as a weapon in order to sort of further our goals as a country, using them as a negotiating or bargaining piece, I get that. But what I'm talking about is actual tariffs. Like if you want to say that he's using them as a tool to get what we want in other ways, then that's totally fine. I don't disagree with that. I'm cool with any type of diplomatic soft or hard power, as long as it's not military.
You can't divorce the two. You can't divorce the two because if it's being used as a negotiating tool, then you can't really just have this hard stopgap at the tariff as if that's just going to be the concrete policy. If we're conceding that it's a negotiating tool. The problem with this is that every time Donald Trump announces these sorts of things, you have his own government, his media, everyone just undermining him at every step.
Well, it's not his government. It's your government. It's my government. It's not his. He's our public servant.
Listen, let's not play the semantics game. You already know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about everyone under his administration. So let's not play that game.
I mean, it's not a game, right? It's material reality of the job that he has, right? They're not undermining him. They just disagree with what he wants to do because for various reasons. Some have good reasons, some have terrible reasons. They just hate him.
They're deliberately undermining him. With every single thing that he does, it is undermining because everything that Donald Trump does, there is always a complaint. There's catastrophizing, whether it be from elected officials or the media. They've been doing it for 9.5 years. So it is absolutely undermining him.
Well, okay, we'll go back to your...
Help me to understand. Tell me the support that he's received from any Democrat in any policy.
I'm completely unaware of the answer to that question. I have no idea.
Well, then they're undermining him.
The omission of an argument means you're right.
Well, let me just say this.
All right, that's fair.
Let me say this. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand and it kind of catches a lot of people off when it comes to Trump is a very extreme individual, okay, especially in the way that he does business. If you look at previous business deals, previous negotiation tactics, it's always to the extreme. Take NATO, for instance. Okay, if you don't pay your fair share, we're just going to pull out of NATO. Or if you don't pay your fair share and somebody attacks you, that's on you. That's your problem. We're not going to come to your rescue, right? But you see what was accomplished out of that, what he wanted to accomplish. Now, granted, I think what Tony's trying to say, and I think both of you are on the same page with this, is I do see where you're always going to have one side, and this could be Republican or Democrat. This is not necessarily just one side because both sides do play this game.
Yep.
They're going to go out to something that's against their narrative, and they're going to fearmonger the shit out of it to the extreme as far as the reaction, even though they don't know. Now, granted, it's somewhat fair because, like I said, Trump uses the extreme when he puts these things out there, all right? But nobody ever looks at it and says, okay, so we understand he puts these guardrails. One is an extreme this way, the other is the extreme this way. It could be anywhere in between. Nobody wants to talk about what the possible most likely path of least resistance in the middle of the road is. Everybody wants to go straight to the extreme of the guardrail.
Then, of course.
But my thing is like the extreme, right? And we said that he's using the tariff as a bargaining tool, right? What if, just hypothetically saying, what if no one submit to his bargaining tool, then that tariff is going to become, a permanent thing. Also, one thing I don't agree with him about is the fact that he totally, as soon as his first day, he totally shut down and take that federal money away from, the people. So basically, the same holder people that vote for him can't get their Social Security money, can't get those stuff. And those are what I'm talking about, the extreme.
No, bro, that wasn't true. That's not what happened at all. He didn't take anybody's Social Security.
You're saying that all these state representatives and mayor from all over the United States, what they're saying that they're lying, that they don't have access to the federal fund.
Yeah,
Yes, they're lying. That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, it's articulated in the Sorry.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. He'll put something out there and he'll say something, and then you have people from the other side that go to the absolute extreme, and the fear mongering comes into play, and it's put out on media, and then you have all kind of people, in disarray because calling, for the disagreement and calling for this to be repealed or done away with.
Explain
that's what I'm talking about, and that's both sides.
And let's talk.
Let's talk. And that's
I want to learn. I don't want to be against the man.
Let's talk. And that's an example of undermining him, as I said earlier, when politics couldn't, find any support from the establishment. I would argue. I'm just saying this is.
Well, here's an example, right? What about the TikTok ban? Right?
This is the constant practice of undermining Donald Trump, which leads to confusion, which leads to people thinking that he did things that he did not do, and it just causes further chaos and more to deal with, keeping him on the defensive, always having to explain himself, and doing this on a world stage. So it's a tactic that's been used over and over and over again against Donald Trump. I mean, this guy has been the most targeted president, I would say, for propaganda person that I've ever seen for propaganda, where so many things have been debunked. It's just ridiculous.
I agree with you in that part. That he's the most scrutinized president ever. I agree with you in that, but I just think that certain things that he's saying and certain stuff that he's doing, he should explain, to his voter, so they don't, like draw a conclusion like me, because I'm drawing a conclusion based on, what I heard. And
but that wouldn't work.
And I'm honest about it. You know what I mean?
Right, but listen what you just said.
That wouldn't work.
I'm not gonna lie. It is true.
No. Listen.
Hold on. That wouldn't work though, because if you're negotiating a deal with someone, right, and you put these guardrails out there and they're very extreme on both ends, you can't turn around and walk out of the meeting and tell the public and hold a press conference saying, "Hey, I'm not going to do that. All right. I'm going to be right in here in this point." You don't walk away from a negotiation and do that, because you're showing your hand at that point. I mean, take, for instance, Canada, right? He laid blanket tariffs on Canada. It was very harsh. I agree. Then Canada tried to clap back and lay their tariffs on the United States. And then what happens? Canada comes out today and Trudeau's like, "Look, we're going to roll back our tariffs and put a 30-day pause on it." We called Trump, had a conversation with Trump. This is what Trump does. He's shown us this time and time again. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, and people can disagree with me, but Trump usually wins and comes out on the better end of these deals.
He does.
Right, and I mean, as far as the whole federal freezing thing, you said a key thing in your statement was that, from what I heard, and this is the issue, it's not from what you read or what you looked into, it's from what you heard, probably from the media. And this is what our media does, and this is why we have an issue with it. Because rather than giving the truth to the public like they should be doing, they give an opinion based off a half-truth. So they're taking half a fact and they're twisting it to run the narrative of fear-mongering to the public, because they want to keep people scared. Because the more people that are scared, the more you have people that dislike Trump. And that's the whole thing that they want to do. They took something out of context, they gave a half-truth, and they created fear-mongering in the public about federal freezes. So people were freaking out and thinking that certain things like Social Security and Medicaid were frozen when in truth they were not.
Right, and even outside
Yes.
of that, we see that there are government agencies that are literally being exposed like every damn day, like the USAID that has been funding propaganda, paying journalists to spread propaganda. Oh shit, y'all go ahead.
Well, here
Hey,
so
and keep
I just
this
have
in
this to say
mind.
about the federal funding
Oh, sorry.
freeze.
Go ahead, politics.
No worries, man. I just have this to say about the federal funding freeze, right? Like his own memo says verbatim to temporarily pause all activities related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance. So like whether that actually affects programs that people use or not, when your memo is sort of like vague like that and it doesn't get to specifics, you sort of allow the echo chambers for and against you to take that space that you left out and then run with it and be crazy.
I don't think you read everything there, because I saw the language where it specified that it wouldn't impact like Social Security benefits and Medicaid and VA benefits and all of that stuff. I didn't hear you mention that just now.
I did.
Did they pull back one of those memos and redo it?
Are you talking about the are you talking about his EO, or are you talking about the what is it? What was the office? The office of the one who put out the announcement.
It was.
Is it the OMB? The O.
It's
OEM. What was it? The O what?
I don't. It's not. It wasn't an EO. It was. I know it wasn't an EO. I know it was one of his agencies.
Right.
But I don't think it was. I don't think it was Doge. Though it was someone else.
Right. But that goes to the point. The EO articulated it. So why did the agency remix it? And this is what I'm talking about. They caused chaos. And this, I personally think that this is a result of spillover from the Biden administration, or just of, more TDS within the administration. Because if it was articulated in the EO, why is it that Let's Talk was told that Social Security was going to be cut?
Well, it was on the news, but I also do my research.
Oh shit, that's worse.
And it was on the news in every single state. And listen to me though. I also do the research that see the same memo that this guy was talking about, and that's why I bring it up. So whether it was clear, it was not clear for a person that don't do research. Because not everybody know how to do research, and not everybody do research. So to a person who that don't do research, would be really difficult for them to not judge. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I bring it up, because I wanted to understand and get your guys' input from the memo.
But let's talk. I know I'm gonna have to go to somebody else. But listen, like what I was telling you, I gave you. I'm saying it was in the EO. It was in the executive order that Donald Trump signed.
Yeah, so I actually have it pulled up right here where it states, so if you go under it goes into an explanation of to what the federal funding consists of, what exactly they're freezing, what they're not freezing, and what this doesn't affect. And it gives you things like questions. Is this a freeze on all federal financial assistance? It gives you an answer. That answer says no. The pause does not apply across the board. So these are things that are on there. But again, we have a media that takes a half truth and they twist it to fit their narrative, because their goal is to fearmonger and make people despise Trump.
But and that was to my point a while ago. And let's talk
what it was not going to affect. And I'm going to mute.
Hold on.
Well, to be fair and to kind of address some of what you're talking about right now, and in my statement a while ago, most people don't have a big issue with how things Trump does turns out. Okay. The biggest issue that we see, especially in conversations that we have, most people don't like the way that Trump says things and lays it out. Yeah. It's a little bit offensive and it's a little bit in your face for most people. And that's what most of these issues usually, I mean, circle around that very thing.
And I'm going to say this exactly what I was talking about. And you know what I mean? And you're right. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have an issue because basically he's our government. He's our president, right? And I don't have an issue. It's just the way he laid out things that be unclear, because in his EO, he don't said what is going to affect from what is not going to affect. He just, you know.
I'm reading over the actual directive that the memo. So the memo came out afterward. and it looks like it is way more specific. I mean, it's not nailed down specific, but it's a lot more specific than the EO. Where
I mean, it is actually nailed down specific. It tells you specifically what programs will not be affected, what it is putting a freeze on. It is actually very specific.
It just tells you what it's not going to be affected. It doesn't tell you what it is going to be affecting. That's what I was saying.
Tony,
but the MO, the
drop you.
I said, no, I was just going to say, anytime someone is being rebuked for what they've done, it don't matter if you deliver it to them on a silver platter, they're not going to accept it. Okay. That's the problem with people. Anything Trump does, it don't matter how he delivers it. He could go get coaching lessons from Obama and he could speak just like Obama. They're not going to accept it. Okay. We are the largest country, consumer in the world. Okay. And when you start looking around and seeing that everybody around you stealing from you, and we finally get somebody to come in and to protect the taxpayers, us American people, and when they start implementing these things to combat all this illegal things that's been going on and all this stealing and everything, then people get all upset about it. Look, we voted for this. This is what we want. I hope he puts his foot on the neck of the people that's been doing this to the American people.
I mean, brother, the people that have been doing this to the American people are the corporations who have taken their jobs elsewhere. What do you mean?
And wait. What about your elected officials?
Say again.
What about the elected officials? Your elected officials. What about
the ones that have allowed these corporations to do that? For sure, they're just as implicit.
The ones that have implemented policies and have lobbied and who have fought for certain legislation and turned a blind eye on behalf of corporations. That's not
I agree. Me and you will never disagree on the fact that corporations own our politicians. For sure, billionaires and trillionaires own our politics.
Did you realize
they
America
work on behalf of donors? Right. That's the problem. They're doing that on whether it's Democrats or Republicans. They serve their donors. They don't serve the American people. So I don't see how anyone has a problem when we know that Democrats and a lot of Republicans do not support the agenda of Donald Trump, and many of them have attempted to obstruct him. So, and MJ, he directly addressed the issue of the way Donald Trump rolls things out, right? But I have also noticed that people don't really tend to dig into the details either, because even though he may not always articulate things the greatest, he always has it laid out somewhere, but no one's ever really willing to do the due diligence and just look deeper into it. Because with every policy he tries to articulate or he says or he announces, it's somewhere where you can actually go into the details. Just like with Agenda 47. No one looked at Agenda 47. Everyone just talked about Project 2025. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump does or says. No one's not really interested in the actual policies because can we disinvest from our feelings of how he says things and actually look at the policies? Like, isn't that what matters at the end? Because I really don't see too many complaints after these things are implemented. Everybody just gets silent and they move on to the next thing to complain about.
I think that people become jaded. Like, I shouldn't say people because I can't talk for everybody, but myself particularly, I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I voted for Trump. I was living in Arizona at the time. And I sort of thought he was going to be a wrecking ball. So essentially his rhetoric around like draining the swamp sounded to me like anti-corruption president, right? Someone's going to come in, get legislation passed, or do it through EO in order to stop that sort of stuff from happening anymore. And that to me meant term limits on congressmen. It meant making it illegal for congressmen to become lobbyists after they get out of office. It meant stopping campaign contributions over personal limits so that there's a somewhat equal playing field so that corporations can't come in and say, I'm buying this dude because he is going to do things for me. And none of that happened. And so
I have a question for you. And that was a good statement, Mr. JT. Do you believe that Donald Trump is an anti-corruption president?
Not based on his policy agenda. I think that he talks about it and I like the things that he says about it. I think that it puts people like you and others who disagree with me on other things on the same track as far as that is concerned. But what has he done insofar as anti-corruption? That's living and breathing right now, or even during his presidency.
You know something? I think he has to. He's.
It's not all his fault, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't
no,
get to
I
make
think
policy,
he's
you know?
I think he's walking a tight wire. And what I mean by that is if I were to make a statement, I want to see if you agree with this statement or disagree. Donald Trump, the left and the media here in the United States has made Donald Trump the most hated man in the world. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
Without a doubt, for sure.
Yeah. So we take that and we understand that everything that this guy does is going to be picked apart for the negative. Okay, not for the positive, but for the negative. So he's got to be, dude. This guy's walking on eggshells.
I get that,
mean,
but why?
seriously.
No, but I think it's unfair. Listen, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an unfair assessment that we so many people gauge Donald Trump and say, well, look what he didn't get. What did he actually get done? Or look how much. I think Donald Trump got a lot accomplished in this previous administration, especially considering the fact that he was that was his first foray into politics.
Yes.
And it's like we're ignoring the amount of obstruction he faced as an elected official. It's like we're ignoring the amount of leaks that were coming out of his administration all the time. We're ignoring all of the obstruction that was coming from Democrats and rhinos at the time, all of the lies that were being told to him from intelligence agencies, even to Fauci. Like, it's like this man is surrounded by people who do not like him. You know, I think that was actually smart of him to fund his own transition team this time, because he actually said, listen, I was new. I chose some of the wrong people, because remember, these people, there are a lot of qualified people that he selected, but he made the mistake of trusting them. And I think this time around, Donald Trump, he learned, okay, being qualified does not necessarily mean that you can be trusted. Donald Trump has consistently ran on a message of draining the swamp from when he came down that escalator in 2016 till today. But I see a different Donald Trump today than I saw back then.
So are you saying that you think that this term, this is the one that he's going to be able to accomplish those anti-corruption reforms?
Absolutely, because he has no more races to run.
What do you think would constitute anti-corruption for him? Like, what would you like to see on that bill?
Well, I mean, even if you just look at what he's doing now, like when we're talking about anti-corruption, I mean, most of the things that he's fighting is corruption. Like, I'm actually disappointed that most people, that I don't really hear people talking about the whole censorship industrial complex that this man is basically been like single-handedly taking on. I don't understand why people are obstructing him and protesting him, trying to audit the government and stop all of the wasteful spending, trying to get the impoundment authority so he could take all of this waste and put it back into the treasury. There is so much corruption and money laundering in this government that Donald Trump is literally trying to slice away while simultaneously being attacked for everything that he does. So I see him as an anti-corruption. Go ahead, MJ. Sorry.
Think about this, Tony. All right, and politics. Think about this. If Donald Trump were to even now, granted, I think we all understand that Donald Trump is taking steps to piece by piece dismantle part of the government to make it smaller. Right?
Yes. Agreed.
If Donald Trump were to come out tomorrow, and politics, I agree with you, dude. I would love to see term limits for people in Congress and the Senate, that sort of thing, especially Congress and congressmen. I don't think life terms, and as long as you keep getting voted in, you should be able to. I mean, Mitch McConnell's a prime example.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If Donald Trump were to come out tomorrow and hint that that's what he wanted to do, and that was going to be his agenda,
problem.
You and I both know articles of impeachment would be drawn up immediately.
Yes.
And they would have him thrown out. He would be
I
thrown out. They would
only disagree with that because it's such a popular it would be such a popular piece of policy that it would be really hard for hold on. I just think that it would be really difficult for any senator that has an election coming up in 2026 to say, no, I don't think term limits should be put on Congress. No, I think we should be able to take money from any company we want. And then to run an election, they'd be primaried out of their lives. Donald Trump could primary them easy.
If this was 15 years ago, maybe I'd agree with you. But now we're in an age where senators, where your Congress doesn't listen to their constituents.
You agreed a while ago that the media and the left has made this man the most hated man in America right now, and we understand. And like I said a while ago and pointed to, the media will take bits and pieces of everything and use it and throw out the negative out there to use it as a fear-mongering tool to the American people.
And it's effective.
If he goes after their dollar, and I'm talking about congressmen, if he goes after their pockets, they will throw him out, and the media will use every tool that they have to go along with this and push this narrative. And unfortunately, because most people agree that this needs to be a thing, unfortunately, you're going to have a lot of people flip simply because of what the media tells them.
And I also want to say this too, because I think we've gotten to a point where our elected representatives, they don't listen to us anymore. That I think we cannot ignore that. You have people are just being thrown out. Not only are people being thrown out of these town halls, you have Congress persons who are not even bothering having these meetings anymore with their constituents. You also have a propaganda media that sits in at all of these press conferences, all of these town halls, and they stand in opposition to any journalist that actually tries to do real journalism. And so and the last thing I would say is the biggest problem is how are we going to get Congress to put limits on themselves? That's the biggest problem. And I think the same way we expect Congress to outlaw basically insider trading. Like these are so many things that they've been taking advantage of. Are we just gonna think that they're gonna magically grow a conscience because their constituents are angry when they've been ignoring them all this time anyway? For them to police themselves?
I think what I want is for him to be the person in 2016 that I saw that was like outspokenly like, fuck these people for doing these things, they're screwing you. Hold on. I want him to maybe come out with a different strategy, but he's the deal maker, right? Like, I don't like the dude, but I understand who he is and what he's good at and what he's not good at.
I think I know what he's doing.
I want him to make that fucking deal, to make that, because that's the one thing that would change fundamentally the whole course of American history.
Right,
if we can change that one thing.
No more elections to run. You cannot lead with that. That's what I'm saying, because that will obstruct anything that you try to do. So you want to get as much of your agenda in using the power of all of the public support that he has. Donald Trump has higher ratings right now than any time in either presidency. This is the time for him to take advantage of the initiatives that will benefit the American people the most. Now, when he has already solidified the crux of his legacy, I would say maybe moving towards the end, because he has no more elections to run. Then I would start going real hard, and that's what I feel like he's going to do. Get the things done that he needs to get done right now. Prioritize that so as not to obstruct the hard things that are going to come next. Because if you go on that now, you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. I really do. That's something that's really important to me.
Yeah, you got to think about it too. All that data that they had just got from Doge. See, that wasn't the only data that they was interested in. Is all these crooked politicians and all these people that's been taking this money from the Treasury, right? So, and that's what I was going to say to him. He's talking about corporations. Did you know who the largest corporation in America is? That's corrupt all to pieces. America. America is the corporation. That's what you need to be looking at. That's why Trump is trying to go in and take care of all this corruption. You're looking at these little bitty corporations. The America is the corruption, and that's what he's trying to take down. That's what he's trying to dismantle.
So
is the corruption in this world.
Jamie Raskin is calling for an investigation of Elon Musk's security clearance.
Can I speak when you get a minute, Tony?
Yes. Hi, Teresa.
Hey, Tony, it's been a minute. I didn't get to congratulate you Republicans on your victory.
I'm not a Republican, but
you're a Trump supporter, so you're a Republican.
I'm not a
Republican. I know you're going to drop me because you don't like me.
I'm not going to drop you, but I'm not a Republican. But yes, congratulations on our victory. Go ahead.
No, not mine.
Yes, yours.
Yours.
You won't realize it yet, but it is.
Just real quick. would you allow me access to your bank account?
Not you.
No.
Would you?
No.
Okay, I'm a senior citizen. I don't feel senior, but I'm a senior citizen. And Elon Musk has not even been vetted. We don't have a clue what this man is going to do. You all are talking about corruption in the government. At least vet this man that's over the treasury now. You all are just giving stuff away.
He's
And
not.
I just asked you, can I have access to your bank account?
Elon Musk is over the treasury.
Yeah, he more or less fired the man that was over it. So yeah, him and his IT people have access to the treasury. Now
When did
you're
that
going to say
happen?
news is fake, but to me, news is only going to report facts, even though Fox doesn't do it. And the last thing, and you're laughing, and you can disconnect me after this one. Should the United States buy TikTok? I'm all about him lowering gas prices and food. Should we buy TikTok? Send me my damn money.
Don't, Neek,
I mean, y'all still
stop,
can
Neek.
own TikTok.
Stop.
Y'all can own it. You can own it. Pool your money together and go buy TikTok. I don't give a damn about the United States purchasing TikTok. And as far as the tariffs against Canada and Mexico, they won.
How did they win? What did they win?
You drink alcohol? Y'all better pay attention. You drink alcohol?
Mine's made in Tennessee. I'm good. In
Moonshine, honey.
Okay, well, keep making your moonshine.
No, I'm not
Tony,
making
thank you for
moonshine.
letting me speak.
All right.
You can drop me now.
All right.
That's all you had to say, Miss Teresa.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
appreciate you coming up.
It was good. It was nice. A very nice exchange. And once again, Miss Teresa, congratulations on your new president.
Yes,
congratulations. No. He will never be my president because I take him literally when he says he's going to deport immigrants so the black man will have a job. I'll look for Tony to be in the field next month. Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
What?
Dang, Tony.
Dang.
I know you didn't just say that to me. I know
I did, and believe it.
He wants you to pick them berries.
So Tony, you need to have a weekly segment.
The immigrants not going to do it. He said the immigrants are taking black men's jobs.
Stop saying immigrants. We're talking about the illegal ones.
Illegal.
Y'all remember I made the comment a while ago how people will take something and
drop
take it to the extreme.
No, but Miss
and-
Teresa, I just want you to know you're using the same language that they used when they released the slaves.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're arguing.
Your president says
no. You're
going to deport these people.
But you're arguing in favor of slave exploitation, and so that's the same argument that the Democrats used when they lost their slaves. That they wanted somebody to be able to pick that cotton for them and keep their houses clean and tend to the children. And you doing the same thing right now, wishing that I go right back over there to perform the exact same duties that Democrats got them illegal aliens doing, which was the same exact thing. Who's going to clean my bathroom and who's going to pick our crops?
Tony, I don't think that it's the same argument to say that we shouldn't force people to do slave labor.
Let me finish speaking to Miss Teresa. Thank you very much, politics. So yeah, Miss Teresa. So what you said is it's not just disrespectful to me, but it's disrespectful to yourself. But thank you very much. Yeah. All right.
Hey, Tony, may I slide in, bro? I ain't gonna be on here long.
What's up, country?
What's up, Nick? What's up, Tony? What's up, y'all? Look here, man. Let me slide in real quick. Say this here, cause my brother always gracious, and he ain't looking for an echo chamber. I'm an independent, much like himself. So I'm just gonna say my piece real quick. I'm gonna dip out. As I sit over here, after hearing that last little conversation, resisting the urge to drink a big cup of bleach, I ain't gonna do it. It's tempting in the motherfucker, but I ain't gonna do it. Let me say this. People love skyscrapers. They love a beautiful skyline, but don't nobody like the construction site, when you got scaffolding up, when you got trucks running at 5 and 6 in the morning and shit. Don't nobody like that. Now, I'm not fully in. I don't like me and you done talked before about the tariff, bro. I don't like them, but I don't like them because I know what all this gonna entail. It's gonna come with some hiccups, some heartache, some pain. Other people, other countries. I'm a hell of a lot more worried about BRICS than I am about Canada or Mexico, to be honest, because that's where real competition is coming from, in my humble Southern opinion. But with that being said, get back to the other point, bro. Don't nobody really want what they be asking for half the time. When you say you want to make change, you want to do this, but you don't look for that shit to be an upheaval of everything being the way it was. Hell, it's gonna come with some stripes. It's gonna come with some strife. It's gonna be ugly in order for the change that you so desperately desire to be set in place in the first damn place. Somebody got to do it. Now, to my next point, so I can hurry up and get off of here. A lot of folks are already positioning themselves and their thoughts to set this shit up against Trump. I'm not for, I'm not against. I ain't in love with no politician, baby. I'm a whole independent over here for real. I'm a political hoe. Whoever work in my favor, that's who I'm walking that corner for. You hear me? Now, with that being said, I sit back and think about it. I'm sorry, Nick, but we talk family. You know what it is.
Right.
Look here. Yeah. So people want to setting it up, position it for all the blame to go on Trump, but in all actuality, it's literally the American people that not in my adult life can I remember, with maybe exception of at a 50% level, Barack Obama seeing some people literally, viscerally, they can't stand this man to the point that will be the breakdown of this country. That will be where we end up in some purge shit. It ain't gonna be because of him. It's because there are so people who, in fact, I'll take that last guess. No disrespect to her, Miss Lady. I never made your acquaintance before, but it was a pleasure to meet you. It's people that deep rooted in an ideology on either side that won't hear shit that nobody else got to say, even if it's the fucking truth. You hate your deemed opposition so much. That's how we gonna end up in a purge. That's how you can't make it past those hard hiccups when coffee go up $5 or $6, gas go up. If the tariffs do cause some shit, which they probably will, however long lasting they may be, that is the catalyst and the excuse for everybody to go ahead and just ride on their ideologies rather than trying to make this bitch better than what it is. The last thing I'm gonna say about what the lady who was up here a while ago said. You see how people quick to ride on this and that. And look, I'm not an Elon Musk fan. I'm not a fan. I'm not a diehard Donald Trump fan, but I don't wake up hating that motherfucker neither. But the thing is, she didn't say nothing about Zelensky, man. Why Zelensky got an interview out here wondering where another $100 billion out of the 80 billion that was granted to them, where in the fuck is that? But you don't hear people from a specific side, because I'm trying to make this my commentary as least divisive as possible. Why is it that your big time content creators, your tweeting people, not tweet, your ex people, your TikTok people, all your political favorites, why they ain't said a motherfucking word about that shit yet, bro? Because this one-sided, man, shit stands to get real bad real fast, not because of Trump, not because of Biden, but because America is so divided that even if the truth is being told, people's heels is dug in so deep in whatever corner they in, they wouldn't know the truth if it slapped them in the motherfucking face. I land my plane right there, and I thank you, bro.
Dude, sound like he eats oatmeal.
That was a plane right there, bro. You just landed a Boeing 747 Air Force One with that.
With the best accent I've ever heard.
We're gonna make it great again, and we're gonna do it with country.
Country, you eat oatmeal or you eat grits? Tell the truth.
He eat both.
Thank you, Nick, and wild hogs and a white-tailed deer if they bring their ass in my backyard.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
I was just checking your Southern credentials.
Yeah.
Like
Hey,
that man will eat anything. You get an alligator in front of him, he know how to skin it and cook it.
Hey, did you guys see that they froze the tariff? They put a pause on the Canadian tariffs.
Yeah, they both.
Yeah. That'll be it.
Yeah, Canada and Mexico.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I expected it, right?
I knew it. Yeah.
I just hate the fact that everybody's always kind of jumping on Trump every time he tries to make, a decision to try to exercise some, negotiation skills. Everyone just jumps all over him, and I think it undermines the whole process, to be honest.
I want to know what
I think what was crazy today was that Mexico caved and sent 10,000 troops to the border.
Oh, Canada's doing the same now.
Yeah. I mean, they all caved. Come on.
But I want to know, Ryan, where are the Democrats? Where are they getting their news? Because I saw a few people in the chat saying that Canada and Mexico are winning.
No,
it's Canadian TikTok. That's who's coming around. I was in a space earlier with a guy from Canada who works at a nuclear power plant, and I kid you not, he was on the job and was on TikTok, and he was bragging about it. And I'm like, look, listening to the dude, like, you have like a very important job, and you're sitting here on TikTok arguing with me, like, what? You're at a nuclear power plant? What?
You know what it is? They were saying, I don't know if it was the president that said it of Mexico, but someone said that in exchange, the United States was going to do something to control the flow of weapons into Mexico, like in exchange or something. I think that was just kind of like a platitude, something they just threw out there to show that they weren't completely getting punked.
Yeah, I was thinking about it this morning when I saw the news about Canada folding on their demands and then Mexico folding on their demands. And then as I was scrolling through, I started seeing like some Mexican posts or people that are more Mexican minded, I should say. And theirs was the complete opposite. So I was starting to think like, it's almost weird that like all three governments involved are running their own sort of like branded propaganda. And I don't mean in a negative way. I just mean like getting their messages out there. And it's hard for me to see news that's Canadian or Mexican. It's even hard for me to find news that's reliable in America, nonetheless another country. And it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Did you all see them in Cali? Like all the Mexicans, they had their flags.
Yeah.
Beeping horns and stopping traffic.
Yeah, we saw it.
I live near that. Yeah.
Lucky Thompson. Yeah. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I mean, we know what it is. Donald Trump, he made the threat, let's say the promise, and before it went into effect, they came to the table. So I don't think Donald Trump walked in there saying, okay, we'll give this to you. We'll do this for you. I don't know. Maybe some slight, I don't know. But yeah, but Canada, they completely folded. Like Trudeau, like completely folded.
Yeah. And he's been neutered pretty much. I will say this though, that the whole like, quote unquote Iron River that they call the weapon trade from America to Mexico is a real thing. And I don't know what we can do to stop it, but it should be stopped. It would certainly hurt the cartel.
So then the United States would have an interest in ending that flow anyway.
Perhaps, but then on the other side, we make those guns, and that means the American dudes are getting paid to manufacture those guns, and so like we also have an inherent benefit to making them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're customers at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's illegal or illegal. Customers are customers, and they're legal here to make. So like, it's a just complicated situation. I think is the way I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but now that they declared a terrorist group, well, still don't matter.
I know, right? I was just gonna say the same thing, bro.
Right.
Canadian here. May I correct you on a few things? Things that are catastrophically wrong in this discussion. May I? Can we do this pleasantly?
Sure.
First of all, the trade deal that Trump is complaining about, he negotiated. He signed it. He even renamed it back in 2019. Go look it up. Everything that he says that Canada's ripping us off, Mexico's ripping us off, he wrote the deal and signed it. Number one, trade deficits. As all of you keep saying, oh, Canada needs us more than we need them. No. A trade deficit means the U.S. buys more from Canada than Canada buys from the US. I repeat, US buys more from Canada than Canada buys from the US.
You're speaking based on quantity, but 70% of your exports go to the
Who
United
negotiated the deal?
Hey, are you okay? Hey, you all right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm sitting here listening to the people who were laugh all you want.
Hold on one second.
Hold on, wait.
Hold on.
Wait, hold on a second. Because you just spoke about volume, but I'm talking about impact. How much of Canadian imports do we rely upon in the United States? 13%.
You rely on more products that you need from us than we need from
So you don't want to answer because once again you're speaking to volume. I'm speaking to overall necessity, the percentage wise. How much of our GDP is reliant upon Canadian import?
It's sort of dependent on the sector, right? Like it's only 5% as a whole, but like energy, where they're a really large supplier, lumber, they're a really big supplier. So it depends on like the industry you're talking about. It's not blanketly like we could absorb them in a second, but like we can't just replace their lumber. It's like 30% of ours.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm asking. Because she's speaking about volume, as if we have comparable
For sure.
economies. So I know what she's trying to do.
Hold on a second. No. This is a trade deal that was negotiated and agreed on by
Donald
Trump.
Trump.
Do we all agree on that? Do we all agree that it was signed?
Simone, hold on one second, because you came up here wanting to have a decent conversation, but you're yelling, you're screaming, you're too emotional. You need to hype it down. I know that you guys are a little emotional right now up there, but I need you to calm it down. Okay, you raising my blood pressure high and you don't want me to crash out. We're American. Y'all are supposed to be Canadian. Y'all supposed to be nice.
We're not very nice to people.
Calm down, but just calm down though.
We didn't threaten you.
Calm down. Just calm down.
How do you think Canadians who right now still have fighter planes helping your fires out in California were there for you at 9/11? How do you think we feel about you guys threatening to make us the 51st state?
You know why? You know why we feel some type of way?
Like, do you guys have
you know
any idea?
why we feel some type of way? Because you guys allow for illegals to come into our country, flow into our country. You guys allow fentanyl to flow in our country, which kills millions of people. So yeah, we feel some type of way. Thank you for your help, but
Not
we
only
feel
that,
some
but
type of way.
Not only that, Simone, but
If you're gonna make that point, go Google how much fentanyl gets into the yes from Canada.
would actually disagree with you.
Oh, we quite frankly, we've already Googled it, and quite frankly, we're closing down the border. America is closed. Thank you very
You know
much.
what? We're okay with that. Seriously. You know what? All this has done is the world, not just Canada, the world. You are now the world's enemy. And I hope you're okay with that, because it's not arrogant attitude. The world hates you guys now, and that's what you got with Trump. You guys are all being
the world hates
jerk.
us. Yet they're bending
No
over
one
for
likes
us.
you
They're bending
anymore,
over
and
for
we're
us.
all
I like that.
negotiating without you. Like, seriously, go fuck yourselves. Like, I hope.
Go fuck yourself.
God,
too.
calm down.
Crash out.
She's not Canadian.
You're advocating for the same
not
Canada.
Canadian.
You're
Wait.
But you're not Canadian. I could tell in her accent. She said,
Oh, we forgot. First of all,
Hello, eight people can't talk at the same time. Like, hey, Simone, why are you crashing out?
Yeah, she was a crash out. She was a Canadian. I could tell the way she's talking.
No,
She's
she was
definitely
nuts.
Canadian.
Neek. She was nuts.
Yeah.
She sounds like she's from
my
Ontario.
gosh.
I think she's from Ontario. So.
Relax. And then I love when people come up here. Can we have a decent conversation? And then they end up crashing out like that. Calm down.
Yeah. Well, that's what we deal with. I've dealt with that all day today. I don't know why the Canadians are so mad. I haven't had any Hispanics from Mexico as mad as that.
It's really only a small amount of them though, because the rest of them, from what I see,
they were pissed off at Trudeau. They were like, "What's wrong with you?"
They were marching against Trudeau. They look like they wanted to end this in life.
She must be related to
talking about.
And does she know that
you would
too?
think.
Does she know that two of the fastest growing food industries or food companies wanted to move their company to America?
Yeah, Ohio.
Once Trudeau came out with that counter.
Yeah, the pancake people.
Wait, she's coming out America. How about you deal with piss poor Trudeau over there before you come in America?
You know, Kenya's president made a really good statement the other day, and I posted it on my page. And I feel like I've said this a few times. I don't know if I told you about it, Tony, but Kenya's president made a joke. Well, former president made a joke in a political speech. He said, "Why are you crying?
Yeah.
Why are you crying? We have to fix our own problems, and this should motivate you that the U.S. is not going to just deliver us cash bags because we have a problem." And really what that creates at the end of the day, and it's very important, it creates national identity. You know, you're fighting for your own people and doing that. And that's what countries have to do. The US can't support and defend everybody. You know, we have our little island over here, right? Like, you know, it's a joke. It's not an island, it's a continent, but we have our own little thing over here and we have our own people suffering. And we can't put our mask on after helping everybody else. You just can't do that. You know, it's like an airplane. So, I mean, we have to help our own people and we've got to do it. And now's the time. And I don't know why people are mad about that. Are you mad because we are cutting off funding? Are you mad because you guys couldn't get it right to begin with and now you have to rely on other nations to like fund you?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying, Tony? Like, come on, like what are we doing here with this?
Listen, at the end of the day, the United States has served as the welfare office for the rest of the planet for far too long. And, you know, I just can't for the life of me understand why so many of us like are actually fighting to remain in that position. So much so that, you know, you're letting illegal aliens come into the country and get on welfare while we're still sending out welfare to all these other countries. And when all it is money laundering, where these people are taking the change and putting it in their pocket. That's why they hate Donald Trump, because they know that he's ending the gravy train. And it's so it speaks to me. To me, it shows the level of propaganda and the dumbing down of America that we're actually calling for this shit to continue. Miss Teresa, come back up here.
Tony, let me say one thing. Do me a favor, chat. If you support Donald Trump and JD Vance, throw American flags in that chat. Let's get this thing going. Throw American flags in that thing. Put them American flags up. You support JD Vance's story, growing up, middle America, overcoming addiction and everything that he's been through. And then Donald Trump, who's been through the ringer himself. Put American flags in that chat.
Oh, there's a lot of flags here, Teresa.
Let's do it.
Teresa don't like it.
I ask a question. Did you come back up here to tell me to go back in chains? Was that an accident? You requested back up?
You talking to me?
No, Miss Teresa.
Teresa.
Oh.
Miss Teresa, you there? Come on. All right, Will.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask a question because I think I tried to make the point before, right? That people see different things, have different perspectives, right? Clearly, a lot of Trump supporters, they clearly don't see or are looking through the same lenses that a lot of people that are not Trump supporters see. Like specifically talking about what they said Donald Trump just counseled the investigative team that's supposed to, investigate any kind of police brutality, right? Now, this is a thing that Democrats or people that don't support Trump, I mean, it's a fact to them, right? Trump eliminated any investigations against the police, the local police or anything like that. Now, they see it that way. So I'm asking you on the panel, do you guys see it that way too? Or you think that that's not true? You think that's bull, fake news? What do you think? Because me personally, I believe it. I mean, they showing it. He eliminated the investigation of any police brutality now. Like, there is no investigative team to investigate police brutality anymore. But and we all know that he just fired a whole bunch of FBI agents or not FBI agents, but people that was prosecuting him. So we know that he did that. Do you believe that or not?
No.
Is
So
one
what
of my
you're
questions.
saying? So no, because that's a lie. Because are you trying to say that internal affairs is gone?
No. What he's saying is that the Department of the Justice Department put a freeze on civil rights litigations while they like review cases or something like that.
But he also stated that nobody will investigate the police. So internal affairs are the ones who investigate the police. They police the police.
They put a freeze on all of it to ensure that everything was still going to be conducted in accordance with the law. All of these executive orders are just to put a freeze on everything, to get clarification, to reassess, to make sure that there are no quote-unquote discriminatory practices that are being utilized or implemented as policy before moving forward. That's why they put a pause on certain civil litigation. Well, on all of it. They just paused everything until they can reassess everything. That's all it is.
As a Trump hater,
So when you say they pause it,
hold
does
on,
that
Will.
mean?
Hold on, Will.
Okay.
What did you say? Politics?
I just said as a Trump hater, quote unquote, I agree with that assessment.
Okay. So 1 second, Will. Hi, Erin. Hello, Erin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? The
I'm
floor is
good.
yours.
I haven't been on here for a while, so it's nice to see you all again. Just wanted to say that, so last night, I don't know if anybody else was on the X Spaces, but I was listening to them at midnight. And it was Elon Musk, it was Mike Lee, it was Joni Ernst, it was Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
And I listened to them for as long as I possibly could, but Joni Ernst, when she was on the one of the board, like the panels that she could kind of investigate, she was investigating USAID years ago, and she was threatened by them. She said she was threatened by them not to go any further into investigations. This is a sitting member of Congress who was threatened by them. Yes. So this uncovering of things, I think that all Americans should be very happy to see this coming to light.
Yeah.
We have every right to know where this money is going. And when we see things going on in the country, kind of like, I don't know, like anything, when you see mass protesting or anything like that, and it's, you're kind of like, how does somebody have the time to constantly do that? Like, who is funding this stuff? We have to follow the money because they're funneling it. Our own government is doing this, and they're doing this around the world.
Yep.
And then they pretend like they're not. So it's odd to me. And so another thing that we're seeing, like where you see members of our government on the Democrat side are
Hey,
literally-
Aaron,
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, Tony. I got to jump from here. We're about to go walk to the mailbox. I'll be back a little bit later. Y'all
Okay.
have a blessed night.
All right, you too.
All right, see you.
We're seeing them literally, I guess, wanting, like when they're standing up and they're jumping up and down, screaming, saying like, they have no right to do this. And we need to shut this down and whatever. Like, why would you want to shut it down? Don't you want to know where your money is going? So I guess my thing would be to anybody who is really looking at it as a bad thing, really just step back for a second and say, okay, if this is a dictatorship, why is he showing us all the stuff that's been happening?
Right.
A dictator would not do that. A dictator would tell us we have no right to see that. A dictator would tell us, you're going to listen to me and nothing else is you're going to do what I say. I'm going to shut down free speech. You're going to, if I don't agree with what you say, you can't say it. We've all experienced that the last 4 years in certain ways. People, you yourself, Tony, have been literally blocked, or I don't know about blocked on here, but we know people mass report and get banned. So who's against free speech here?
Right.
I mean, the problem I have with it isn't that he's auditing these big government agencies. We should be doing that, but it should be transparent, not in the sense that it's transparent because he shows us what he wants us to show. I think that it would be better for him. I think it would be better for us if he put some sort of council over these audits that we all had free information access to, so that news organizations of all kinds could just request the things that they want to see.
That's what that's going to do. Once again, though, when you get people involved in that, they shut it down. They're not going to show us anything. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Show it all.
I agree. But right now we don't have sunlight. We just have a spotlight.
I think he hit his hand through the campaign though. But once he won president, that's when he came all out with it. But through the campaign, he was not saying the stuff that he's doing now.
He said he was going to. He said when he was campaigning that he was going to put the Doge together, and he wanted to put a spotlight on waste, fraud, and abuse, and that's exactly what he's doing. I don't want to.
Okay. What about the part where he said about the food?
No. Hold on. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to bring people up. Neek, I don't know. Are you a mod out here, MJ, as well? Because I can't get them up. Everybody I bring up, they just get stuck and they drop.
I haven't brought anybody up. Matter of fact, I've removed 2 people just because I got bored in the comments.
Oh my God. It might be them not accepting it or something. I don't know.
This has been like 3 in a row. Yeah.
No, it's probably how many people are. I mean, there's a lot of people in the queue, and if people sit there for a little while, they just kind of move on to something else, and it doesn't remove them from the queue, or maybe they just, cut their phone or whatever.
Right.
Oh, well, okay, I'll try again. But Aaron, anything else? Because I'm gonna start rotating the panel, but really, I want everyone to try to keep it concise to 2 minutes because, like MJ said, the queue is long.
Yeah. The only other thing I'm going to say is, when just look at what the elected officials are doing and how they're behaving. People want to say all the time that that Republicans or whatever, the MAGA cult, and they just go along. All you have to do is see the orchestrated behavior of what the Democrats just did and what they did today. They stood up and they screamed and scared a lot of people who are living off of like Social Security and all the other benefits. That was never on the table to be gone. So they were gaslit and they enjoy doing that. That's it, and we can see it. It's a constant thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Hey, Stacy. Don't bring anybody up yet. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, go ahead. I can wait my turn.
Oh, no, it is your turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right.
No, I just was second what the lady said prior to me. I agree with her. I don't know what there's one guy in here that said he was the Trump hater or whatever. All of this that he's doing, he talked about the whole entire campaign. And I believe that he's being transparent as he possibly can. I mean, the man has held more press conferences in like 11 days or whatever than a lot of people have done in, 6 months, a year, 4 years, whatever. I mean, I'm not keeping track of it, but obviously, I mean, he's on TV every single day and he's putting the numbers out there. And I actually work in Ohio for at the Department of Job and Family Services with Medicaid and food stamps. There was never, ever a moment when they said, hey, this is going to come to a stop. Like, and everybody was panicking and all of these left-wing people were they're just panicking because they take one snippet of a piece of information and then blow it out of proportion. And I feel like people need to just take a pause, step back. And it's like any new position that you go into in life, whether it be your own personal business or where, like if you get a new job or, whatever. And when somebody new takes over, they make changes. I mean, we've had 3 different directors at my building in 3 years, and every single one of them makes changes. And we think, oh my gosh, this is going to be worse than the last one. Or, could this be better? Or like, what can we do to make, it's just a whole big, I don't even know what the right word is or what exactly I'm trying to say, but I think just to be fair, I mean, obviously I'm a Trump supporter and I didn't like it when Biden, you know, took over in 2020, but I just gave him the benefit of the doubt and thought, you know what, he's been in politics forever. Let's see what he can do. And I think that everybody should give Trump the same opportunity because he is doing what he said he was going to do.
Oh, that's right. All right. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
A lot of the stuff you hear though.
Yeah, go ahead, Will. Floor is yours.
Right on. Like, for example, with the food issue, right? I know under Biden, the whole complaint was, and please don't think I'm a Biden supporter. I don't like Biden, but they was complaining about the food prices going up, and Donald Trump was saying at that time, as he was campaigning, that he was going to bring those food prices down. But once he made president, he changed his whole tune. He said, we're going to hurt for, it was going to hurt now because we're going to, the food price is basically going to go up. That's what he's saying. And so it's different than what he was. It's like he hit his hand again. He hit his hand. He couldn't say some things that he wanted to say during the campaign. But once he won, he's just doing stuff that he never even campaigned on. And it seems
like what?
Like people can't see that. Okay, well, like I just pointed out, the food thing, the food, eggs and milk being high priced under Biden's era. Donald Trump was saying that he was going to fix that. That was his whole agenda. He was going to fix it. But now that he's the president,
How
he
long
went right.
has
He
Donald
went.
Trump been in office?
He just barely got there. But he's telling you already that once he won president, he's telling you, oh, it's going to hurt. Food prices is going to go up, and it's going to hurt. And I guess, he want to implement his policies now. And so the stuff he's doing now was a lot of stuff he didn't campaign on. Like he just went and fired all of those people in the government workers. He told them, hey, you fire yourself and I'll pay you, I guess, throughout the rest of the year or something. A lot of stuff that he's doing now was nothing that he was campaigning on. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. A lot of people can't see it.
Go ahead, MJ.
I mean, the government workers gave them an opportunity to come back to work. If they didn't want to come back to work, then they could take a severance package and early retirement.
Okay.
I think what he was trying to do is he's trying to bring them back into the office because a lot of those workers were still remote. And I think he wanted to force them back in by any means. And that was like, hey, either come back in office or you can quit. If you don't want to work in the office and you want to remain remote, you can quit. I'll give you some money to make the way easier, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, but it's not just some money. It's an 8-month severance pay package. And you're telling me they can't find a job within 2 months of that?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying what he said, right? He wants them to come back into the office. And if they don't want to go from remote into the office again, then they have the option of taking the severance package and just quitting their job.
What's the point of having these empty buildings we're paying taxpayer dollars for that aren't being used?
Don't pay for the buildings. I'm a guy that went from in the office to remote work, and there's solutions for that don't entail forcing people to come back in. But again, that's my CEO's decision, right? Trump is the CEO of America now, so that's his decision to make.
No, actually, it wasn't. So actually, Biden was he was also begging people to go back into the workforce. Did
He's
you
been
know that?
begging people for years, Biden.
He's been begging them.
Nobody listened to him. So Trump actually did negotiations and said you either gonna go back to the office or you're gonna lose your job. You can resign. Or you're fired.
Right.
I'm a little confused on it because a lot of people think different, right? I mean, from what I've seen them reporting, and they could be falsely reporting. But
No, it's not about thoughts. I could find it.
Well,
for
hold
you.
on.
I'll show you.
Well, let me ask Tony because Tony, he seemed to know a lot of facts and stuff. Tony, can you explain this at all? Because I can honestly admit I'm a little confused. I hear something different than everybody else saying. When Trump, what is he doing exactly? He's telling them to come back to work or get laid off. What is he doing?
You can come back to work or you can get an 8-month severance pay, meaning we're going to give you a package. If you don't want to come back to work in the office like you're supposed to, then we'll give you 8-month severance pay and you can leave. You're fired.
So what's wrong with them coming back to work then?
And the only reason why he's giving you 8 months is because that's the highest he's allowed to give under the current budget.
So why do they not want to come back to work? What's going on with that? Why they don't want to come to work?
Why
What's
don't you
going
like
on?
government workers? They
Because people got
the-
used to sitting on their ass doing nothing.
Yeah, people want to
No,
stay
no,
at
no.
home and chill and have convenience. They don't want to.
If you
No,
have the
these people have been
opportunity-
working. They've been working, right?
Can you see, sir?
Yeah, but-
Hey, Will, can you see that? Since you didn't believe me. But there you go.
But Will, if you
Biden
if you
calls for
have the
federal workers to return to the office. So you saying that these
Wait,
people under Biden, you saying under Biden, they just sat at home, they didn't go to work?
No, look, I'm not saying it. You can read, right? You see
Those
that?
people did not listen.
Yeah.
to
You
him.
see that?
I see it. I'm just trying to understand.
So
Just-
it's nothing to understand, but those people didn't want to go back to work. They didn't listen to him.
Okay, so you're saying that under Biden, people just stopped going to work, and so
No.
Biden was asking them
I
to come
think
back?
there's a confusion
Oh.
here. The people are employed by the federal government in various different bureaus, right? Some of them went remote work from home during COVID. And so the government's been trying to get these people back into the office. Trump just took it a step further by saying, if you don't want this job, we're going to make everybody come back. If you don't want to do that, you can take the severance pay, in hopes that people would take the bait and just leave the position. It's not about they weren't working. Or they quit their jobs. It was just that they didn't want to return to the office to do their
Okay,
job.
now that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I understand.
birds with
now.
one stone.
I get-
Yeah,
So basically,
but Biden
Trump-
has been requesting for
Yeah.
federal employees to return back to the office since 2022.
For sure.
Nobody
And I get
listened.
every single person who runs a company in America, not every, but 99% of them have wanted their employees to come back into the office, including the
Makes sense.
president.
And
the
they
former
Basically,
Democrat.
Trump lit some fire up under their ass.
I
That's
think there's
basically
a
what it
small
was.
percentage of people where it should be, where certain circumstances should be allowed, but outside of that, they should go back to the office.
Hey, Will, I'm gonna drop you
Yeah.
down, but you can re-request if you're gonna come back up, and I'm gonna bring Eric up. Hey, Eric, what's
All
up?
right.
How you doing? Thanks, Will.
What's happening, brother?
All right, how's everything?
Good, man. I just wanted to comment on the. There was a couple of comments from a couple ladies earlier talking about how the Dems are freaking out over Doge going in and cutting all the funding for USAID and all these other departments.
Okay.
What I would like to do is figure out whenever all of these lists get dropped out, I want to figure out who funded all of those, because if the Democrats are making a coordinated effort, what's going to tell you is how many special interest groups and how many pockets they're lining, and that's why they're freaking out.
That's right.
That's what I want to know. I want a list, and I want it itemized so that you can go through and figure out who's making deals under the table. And that's what Trump is trying to do, is he's trying to figure out who is corrupt, who's getting paid, where's the money going, and why are we spending all this money? Like, come on, man, $100 million on condoms in Ghana?
All right, that was just completely fake, bro. You gotta admit that. That's not true, dog.
What are you
Wait,
talking
what?
about?
You mean Gaza? You mean it's 50? That
It's
was real.
50 million to Gaza was the story, but it's just not true. It's just not. That's 1 billion condoms, bro. They get them at the rate of like 0.5
You know,
cents.
no. But you know,
No. You don't get to say that was fake, bro. It wasn't fake.
It's not fake. It's 100%.
I mean, do you think a $10,000 toilet seat is fake?
I don't know about that. All I know is that they didn't buy 1 billion condoms for Gaza. 1 billion with a B.
We didn't say they bought 1 billion condoms.
You said $50 million for condoms, and USAID, we know how much they charge for them because they're actively looking for vendors all the time.
Right, but again,
you're operating under the belief that the United States is paying retail or at cost. This is how they launder money, bro. They
Oh, he think that the condoms were used for protection for SEX. No, they were using them for bombs,
they're using them
sir.
to make bombs.
They were using them for bombs.
No, but my point of contention with him is that it almost sounds as if you think that the United States is going to be paying costs for these things, as opposed to paying inordinate amounts of money to launder money.
You know how money laundering works?
I do know how money laundering works. I do.
Okay.
So if it turns out to be a Republican, because y'all keep calling them Democrats that are doing wrong, you gonna stand up and say,
Well, hold on, Miss Teresa. I thought you came up here to apologize to me. Did you?
no, I would
I'm
never
sorry?
apologize to you. I'll listen to you.
Oh
but I'm-
no. Okay. So yeah, go ahead, politics.
You thought Miss Teresa was gonna apologize?
You're gonna tell me slave, and you want me to go back in no damn fields and then come up in here talking like it's all good. I don't
Sound
care
like
how
she
old-
took her teeth out.
So again, I wasn't saying that it's just Democrats. My statement is that Democrats made a coordinated effort and getting on television and throwing a conniption fit about trying to make it about Elon Musk and not about the massive amount of misappropriation of funds. That's what I was talking about. I didn't see 30 Republicans or 20 Republicans jumping up in a coordinated effort screaming a hissy fit. I only saw the Democrats doing it. Nobody here, at least me, I'm not saying that there's no Republicans that are dirty. I'm sure there are, and I would love to see them shit canned personally.
Right.
But what I was saying is that I would like a list to see where that money is coming to and from and figure out who's the one that's lining those pockets. That's what I would like to know. It's about transparency and accountability.
Right. My question would be, who doesn't want that information? Who doesn't want the public to have that information? Because I think that would actually tell you who the problem is.
That's my point. And so the story on what you were talking about, you can go and look at declassified documents back in the 60s and 70s where they were charging $1,000 for a box of nails and $10,000 for a hammer. And those were all black ops things that were declassified. You can go and look that up. Tony's right. They overcharge things to launder money so they can hide it and do other things.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I just joined. I don't know what y'all been talking about. But my man just went back to 60s and 70s, and I caught enough that he was a dim. So if you're following all this that's going on now, you like Ukraine. Ukraine, was supposed to get $177 million. The Ukrainian president come out and said he got 77 out of $177 million. You're talking about corruption and wanting to be open. But on the dim side, if you want transparency in reality, not you personally, but you represent it as a Democratic, why are the Democratic trying to go against Doge?
Hold on, purpose. Huckleberry, hang on, Huckleberry. I'm not a Democrat, number one. I'm independent, and I didn't represent as a Democrat.
Okay, and then you agree then that Doge doing what they're doing, even as Elon out there trying to represent it. That's the entire purpose of Trump, and what they're trying to do is find out where all these hundreds of millions of trillions of dollars is going.
You're literally reiterating my exact point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you heard.
Hold on a minute, you guys.
Everything that Eric said.
Okay, like I said, I just joined. I just caught, the last 30 seconds of what he said. I heard him say Dems and all that, and Dems are generally against all that.
Yeah, it's sad. It's very sad, but yeah, you're right. All right, well, thank you, Huckleberry. Just listen in a little longer, and maybe if you hear something, a topic, then you jump back in. All right. Okay.
All
right, thank you. All right. Hi, Kelly.
Hello, I just had one question.
Okay.
I heard Trump say something about with the tariffs that it would help us get rid of the income tax. Would that still be true?
I mean, it seems like that's the goal he's going for. I mean, there was a time in this country, I think it was between 1870 and 1913, when all of our GDP was coming from tariffs. So there is precedent for it. It's just that, when we introduced income tax, what was that? That was during World War I. We just never walked away from that standard. He's trying to create a mechanism to put our tax dollars back in our pockets or eliminate federal income tax. Do I think that's going to happen under his administration? I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. But I do honestly think that that's a good goal, but I don't even know how realistic it is anymore. So I'm just interested in seeing what exactly the plan is, because we've had such a disproportionate, non-reciprocal relationship with our trade partners. I just don't know. I feel like it's just gone too deep. And we've pledged so much money. That's why, for me, I'm really interested in how much waste there has been. I think it's going to be much deeper than we think. I think we're going to be astonished to see the level of reckless spending that has been happening in this government, because it wouldn't be so commonplace, right? Like transgender monkeys and Russian lizards running on the I don't whatever.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think that a senator or a congressman goes in being worth a couple 100,000, and when they retire 15 years later, they're worth 130 million?
15 years later, man,
Yeah.
Barack, listen, they go in as with $1,000 in the bank, and after 2 terms, they're worth like 15 million. So
There's
I need to know.
a piece now. Like if you're not talking, can you mute because there's a lot of static. Okay, that was the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay,
And,
thank you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, thank you to you guys. I've been watching you since the end of August because I got on TikTok and I found you. And you guys have taught me so much, all of you. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. You have a good night.
You too.
All right. This is why we do what we do. Go ahead, Holly.
I just got to say, I've seen a couple people in the comments talking about, look at AOC as far as like your example for people that have enriched themselves in Congress. I don't think she's a good example of that.
She said that she I don't know. She said she doesn't have money like that. I don't know. I don't really believe. When you Google or you look up people's
net worth,
their net worth. I don't. Where are they getting that information from? Well, I guess for Congress, it should be a lot more accurate, though.
Yeah, they have official filings, but I mean, no matter how you spend it, you could always hide some shit if you had the incentive to do so.
True.
Even from Congress, I'm sure. I think at least I don't know that, but I think.
One thing that's interesting to me is that she speaks out against insider trading, about about Congress trading in the stock market, which is something feels weird about that. I almost feel like she has her own shortcut, so she can advocate for that.
No, AOC I don't agree with on a lot of things, but one thing I do agree with her on is that she's very populist when it comes to her economic policy. She truly, if it was all AOCs in Congress, it would be illegal to trade stock in Congress. I don't have any doubt about that. I think the problem is that corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans, those are the ones that don't want that to stop because they have the most to gain by that, the Pelosi's of the world.
Well,
you gotta remember, AOC is not a friend of the Democratic Party. They've censored her like multiple times.
AOC is transforming into a corporate Democrat?
I think she slowly is. That's my fear. 100%.
Yeah.
I think it does that to people. I think they go there and that's always what happens.
About these politics, right? Like once you get into politics, no matter how progressive you are or how anti-establishment you are, once you get in there, all it takes is just maybe a couple of years and you're willing to compromise all of your morals and you just fall in line.
Yeah. I used to have this like pipe dream, right? Where like we changed the presidency to have like whoever wins the popular vote gets say the Republicans win a popular vote, they get to have the president. And then the second place person on the Democratic side becomes the vice president. And obviously that would never work because politics is too corrupt. But my dream was something to see like a Dan Crenshaw and like an AOC, two people that come from different backgrounds, but have similar like anti-establishment elements to their politics. But then they both sort of like began to migrate.
Wait,
away.
You're a Democrat then?
Sure, I'm a leftist is what I would call myself, but I fucking hate the Democratic establishment with passion that I share equally for the Republicans.
I would love to see somebody. I like the politics of people like Thomas Massey, Rand Paul. Who else?
Rand Paul's the libertarian, right?
Yeah, I thought he was a libertarian, but they said that he's Republican.
Well, he goes on a Republican ticket, but he claims that he's an independent.
Same as Bernie, like similar to Bernie, I would say. Like he claims
Bernie's
Democratic
the
because he needs the power of the corporations that fund the party.
Bernie is the biggest disappointment sellout in political history.
Why do you say that?
I was a Bernie supporter too, by the way.
Why do you say that?
He had so much potential to create a whole party, and
what didn't he do? That dude threw his entire movement under the bus and bent the knee to the establishment. After all of the shit that he said, all of the truth he said on his campaign trail, and then he decided to invest in the TDS and endorse Hillary Clinton. No one in good conscience could say, yeah, vote for Hillary Clinton. He abandoned everything, all of the morals, all of the ideology that he was espousing, and left his entire movement. He just left them behind. And then
to see him today, when you transpose Bernie today versus Bernie back then, you literally see Bernie Sanders out there caping for Big Pharma against RFK Jr.
And
Bro.
accepting money from them.
Nah, bro. Nah, that's not the Bernie Sanders I used to know. He's a coward. He's a loser.
And he didn't deny it in the hearing either that he accepted money from
Yeah,
them.
but you know what? I felt like, I almost felt like, because I was giving Bernie an excuse. I was like, they must have threatened him. Maybe they threatened his life or something.
Well, they don't. What they do is they threaten your legislative policy, like platform. Like they say, we won't support you on this, or we will support you on that. Like you want that infrastructure money, we got you.
Bernie's been failing for, I don't want to say failing, because, you know, he's the amendment king. That's what they used to call him, because Bernie was effective with working with both sides of Congress, right?
Mhm.
But Bernie is used to failing. I hate to say it that way, but, you know, Bernie's been saying the same shit for like 60 years. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think having problems getting his legislation, I don't think that would have been the problem. Bernie Sanders did the biggest 180 that I've ever seen. And Elizabeth Warren, I never trusted her anyway. But even her, she's a fucking hypocrite as well. I just think that to see progressives, people who identify as progressives, to just sell out their entire base, you know, to just I don't know, they just kind of morph into these corporate Democrats. It's sickening to me. Like, you literally saw Elizabeth Warren basically telling RFK Jr. don't sue these big pharma companies, even after he's out of office. He already said he would divest from the lawsuits while he was secretary. But even afterwards, bro, come on. You know, she was yelling at him like that because somebody else was yelling at her like that.
Yeah, Liz to me.
He represents everything that's wrong with Massachusetts. I know she's from Massachusetts, but she represents everything that's wrong with it.
Yes, Pocahontas is bad.
I don't see anyone. If you all had to choose one person in Congress that you think is the most trustworthy all around, who would it be?
In Congress in general, or just like the Senate?
In Congress. In Congress, Byron.
I said Byron too.
Byron Donalds. Yep.
I'm going with Ro Khanna from the House.
What?
Yeah.
Who? Come on, Paulo.
Little
That's
known.
hilarious.
What don't you guys like about him?
Roe is equivocal. Roe stands on both sides of issues whenever it's politically convenient from him.
I feel like all politicians do that. I could give you examples of Donald Trump doing the same thing.
I don't know. Forget Donald Trump. Tell me Byron Donalds.
I don't know much about Byron Donalds, so I couldn't say.
Okay, well, he's not one of them. Who else?
Somebody said
Is
Jasmine.
Byron Donalds the brother with the buzz head?
Somebody
Somebody
said
said Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine
Marcus
Crockett
Brooks said Jasmine
Bonquisha
Crockett.
Tisha.
Kinetic me
That's
from
clear, right?
From Texas.
Y'all bugging.
I think
right.
Senator Kennedy
I like
as
MTV.
well. Byron and Senator Kennedy.
Senator
I
Kennedy.
like Senator Kennedy.
I think he's entertaining, but I saw some neocon in him. I can't remember when it was.
Oh Lordy.
Yeah, he's no nonsense. Yeah, he's no nonsense. But somebody said,
Thomas Massey.
oh, Jim Johnson is good. Or Jim Jordan.
Jim Jordan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jim Jordan.
Yeah, he disappointed me on the Israel Gaza thing.
What did you
But
say
you
that
know-
disappointed you?
I don't want to get into that
We're
conversation.
not gonna get
Okay,
it.
okay.
But you
Yeah.
know, MTG is my girl.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you something. I know everybody says all these bad things about Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I actually I didn't know much about her, but it's like every time I see her, she's on the right side of an issue.
Yep.
All I hear about is some Jewish space laser thing, but I don't know about that. But all I know is I see her push back against her own party. I see her push back against Democrats. I see her fight for common sense. You know, she was in the CR in that appropriations bill. What was the change that she forced in there? Oh, it was when they were trying to change the language. They were trying to pull the word like mother, father, brother, any type of anything that specified sex in there. He made sure not to vote for that CR until they put the gender confirming language back in there. And she'll fight against anybody. That's the thing I like about her. She don't care. She's ready for the vote.
You stand on business.
I saw someone say Katie Porter, and I think Katie Porter's a boss too.
Was she the one who said, let's take it outside?
No, that was the girl that was
that?
fighting Marjorie. That's Jasmine Crocker.
Yeah, what's her name again?
Jasmine Crocker was the girl fighting.
No, not her, the other one.
Okay, that was Nancy.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
Nancy.
answer. That
Oh,
was
Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace, yeah.
I like her.
I don't know enough about her.
I
So
don't
what
think she
y'all-
would have did
y'all-
nothing in
y'all
that
like-
fight, but
Y'all like Rand Paul?
Rand Paul is he's just too soft spoken.
No.
Boring.
He needs
No,
to
'cause I don't
stand
like
on
him from-
business more.
Yeah, I
he's,
don't
too,
like
he's, too,
that
he's a little too
connection.
dogmatic in his beliefs too.
I always felt
Yeah.
like he was an op in the
He's
Republican
dogmatic
Party.
in what regard?
Well, I mean, he says that he's non-wavering, so he believes that he's a what is the word I'm looking for? So he says he's an independent, but he's a fiscal conservative is the word that he uses. But then he wants to cut back on certain funding to certain government programs that actually do help people and not just give money away for free. So he wants to, which part of that I agree with, and then part of it I don't. So like he doesn't want to, I can't remember what the exact bill is. I'll have to look it up, but he was making a comment about something, and it was that we have to be fiscally conservative, and he wants to do a full check on how much money's going out and coming in, which I'm totally on board with.
Right.
But there was a statement that he made. I'm looking it up right now, but there was a statement that he made that I was like, that doesn't make any sense. You're going to cut funding to this program, and it actually does help people that are in need. And
Yeah,
he
you gotta
was,
let me find that. You gotta let me know when you find that.
I'm looking at it right now.
I mean, even the other day, he said something about the tariffs being like irresponsible and like bad because his position is that anything that makes prices more important or increases taxes on Americans, which technically the tariffs would be in the short term at least, he disagrees with that because I think that's what he means by dogmatic is that like he's
Oh,
like
then I-
anything
yeah,
that
nah.
does that I don't agree with, and so he takes like a blanket hard line on that kind of stuff.
Oh, right. Instead of having the foresight and to just really look ahead and see the bigger picture, it's more.
Yeah, I'm not a Rand Paul fan, but that's how I took it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's exactly
No,
what
that's
I'm
how I
talking
would
about.
take it.
Yeah.
And that's why I lean more conservative, to be honest, because I'm not as invested in the emotion of things and the entitlement. I feel like there's a lot of entitlement in the politics on the left. And that's the problem.
There certainly is. There certainly is. But I think there's good reason for that, right? It's not that like I, for instance, for example, like I almost made $100,000 this year, right? I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I'm not thriving, but I'm making good money. I'm working hard.
Where you
I'm trying
live.
to earn more for sure, right? But I'm in Southern California, right? So that shit don't mean as much as it
Right.
would if I was in Kansas City with my family, etc.
Right.
But I think that the sentiment on the left is that there is good that comes from pooling money from the top of our income ladder into the bottom via programs that work, that aren't wasteful, which is another problem in itself. And when Republicans come along saying they want to cut funding of those programs, I think it's taken with like, I don't know. I think that the thought is that people are going to take a sword and chop it down instead of dissecting it, looking at it, getting rid of the shit that doesn't work and keeping the stuff that is. Because there's popularity in that kind of like, we need to cut these corrupt programs. And there's gas on that. It helps to light people's fire to get them to vote. And so it's like a problem that, I don't know, helps itself get bigger and bigger instead of solving itself.
But you see where you use that example of taking money or pooling money from the top, going down to like, you know, social programs or safety nets, or I'm more of the mind that you take an even pool from everybody, right? Like a flat tax type of model, because it's still going to amount to being a hell of a lot more for those on the top. I feel like the politics that I see on the left are mostly about, oh, you know, you gave them the bigger tax breaks. But at the end of the day, a lot of those tax breaks to the people on the top, you know, those are the people who provide a lot of the jobs and the opportunities for other people too. I'm not saying it, I'm not trying to say, oh, trickle down economics as it is functioning today is the answer or anything of that nature. But I also find that there's too much entitlement that demonizes people who work hard, they achieve a certain level of success. I'm for capitalism, you know, but not that greedy crony. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not crony capitalism that we've sort of evolved into. Yeah, I think that like I look at it like this, right? Like I sort of look back through. I ask people this question a lot. I haven't asked you guys yet, but maybe I will here. Is like, what era or what decade of America do you look at the economy as like the best for people that are at the bottom, people in the middle, and the people at the top? And I think most people will say, yeah, like it's say in the last 120, 130 years, like
People are gonna
1900
say somewhere in well, that goes based on group because of the time we lived in.
Sure.
That would have to be based on the group.
Well, and that's why it's a difficult question, right? Because like you're like, sure, I'm a black man, right? So I'm not trying to go back to the 60s or the 50s or the 40s because the economy wasn't shared as well as it is now.
But I would
By
argue
people.
that during those times, our economy worked better for us because that's when we were segregated into a dynamic of group economics, where we were able to build our own institutions and we were very wealthy. I'm saying all the way back to the 1920s. So there is, there's historical context for that. So, and I mean, we also had our families together. We had a high marriage rate. There were a lot of successful Black folks out there. So I think it depends on the time period and the demographic.
Yeah, sure, the person you're asking. But I think the reason I brought it up is because I think back to that question and I go, okay, like maybe 50s, 60s, possibly 40s, going into the 70s for sure. I think most of us could agree that like mid 80s-ish going into the 90s is when the American economy took a departure from the way it used to be. And there's a lot of factors for that, right? The growth of the federal government, campaign contributions becoming legal again. There's a ton of shit that happened, right? Income tax rates moving downward instead of the opposite direction. There's a ton of stuff, but I look at that like I go, okay, if in 1961 or 1953, to call it random years, the tax rate for the top earners in America was up at like almost 90%.
Yeah.
And like, there's other reasons why we were doing well. It wasn't just that, but I want a government that looks at the past and goes, okay, maybe we take this one thing out of that economy, take that thing, and we try to meld that into the future of our economies. But it doesn't seem like that's possible, because people are sort of like tribalist, even me, even you, like everybody, as good as we try to be, and there's not enough people that are trying to be good about that. We're just like all tribal and sort of stuck in our ways. And I don't know, easy to gaslight because the internet makes everything so easy to find.
True.
Yeah.
True. We're in a big mess, but it starts with conversations like these, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Beyond that, no, I'm gonna leave y'all. I got to get back to my stuff over here. But y'all, I appreciate you guys letting me join in the discussion, even though we don't agree on everything.
Yeah, I gotta follow you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same here, boys. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good having you up here.
All right, man. Y'all take care, everybody.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
Hey, who is it? Mafia? Mafia Mama. Hey, Mafia Mama. Mafia Mama?
Are you there?
Okay. Hey, wait.
SEC biased.
Hey, y'all.
I remember you. Hi. How are you doing?
How are y'all?